Hello, everybody. Can anybody hear me? Hello. Hi, Dom C. How are you doing, Lily? I do not have any sound for some reason, so I'm having some technical issues. I'm trying to get them resolved. Not sure what's going on. And you guys say you can hear me. Can somebody put a 1 if you can hear me? Hmm. Well, I'm not sure what's happening because I can't hear my video playing and I can't hear anything. So this is disappointing for my first live stream. Hi, Melly. Well, Melly and Dom C, I know you guys. Oh my God, Wayne, you're in here. Thank you so much. But I cannot hear anything and I do not have my mic muted. I don't know what's going on. It shows that I am talking and I have a green light, but it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I'm just going to, I guess, keep talking. And but anyway, welcome everybody. I really appreciate you joining me. I'm sorry that we had technical difficulties. Again, I don't know for sure what's going on, but I am obviously PI 56 and I'm glad to see all of you. And today, what I was planning on doing is covering a little bit about 3 cases. And I know that most of you are familiar with one in particular, which is Nancy Guthrie. And there's 2 other cases. And I don't know if you guys are aware of the Lynette Hooker case or the case that's presently on, which is the Lindsay Clancy case. And Wayne, I see your comment. I am in StreamYard right now, and I am about ready to throw StreamYard right out the window because I'm having incredibly difficult problems with them since last night. So I'm not sure, like I said, if somebody wants to hop up on stage, I can see if I can even hear you then. But I guess we just move forward. Have any of you heard about Wayne? What do you at? Let's see. I am on a computer, not a laptop. And I'm using Windows and I am in StreamYard. So did you guys hear the intro song then play? That would help me out to know that. Hello, FinFan. How you doing, buddy? If somebody could tell me if you heard the intro song, that would help me a little bit. Tina, hello. Thank you. Okay, let me try one more time. Did the intro song play and did anybody hear it? Because I should have been able to hear that and I could not hear it. Hello? Did anyone hear? I'm typing this in the chat right now. We'll see what happens. Did anyone hear? Ah, Lily, thank you. You said you didn't hear it, and I think you came in on time. I'm going to try something real quick just for a test. I love you too, Tina. Thank you. I'm just going to real quick. I know you guys are sick of hearing it, but I'm going to see if my intro song will play and if I can hear it this time. And I'll stop it right away. Okay, it appears that nobody is hearing the song because I just tried it again. So I don't understand what's going on. Anyway, out of the three cases that I have mentioned, have any of you heard about Lynette Hooker or Lindsay Clancy? Because I know you all know about Nancy Guthrie, and I do not want to start particularly with Nancy Guthrie. Now everybody's saying you can't hear me at all. Wow. Okay, some of you are saying you can hear me, some of you are saying you can't. So I'm just going to go with the assumption that you can hear me, and if you can't, maybe then that's on your end, because I think now it's resolved. I can't hear my music intro, so I don't know what's going on my end. So I do see here that some people say they are familiar with the Lynette Hooker case. No, I'm not a song. Hi, Crochet and True Crime Girl. Thank you, Millie. I appreciate it. So I'm just going to keep going, and it seems like everybody can hear me now. And don't worry about the intro song. It's not that exciting anyway. Wayne, Julie, you guys, you didn't miss anything. So I'm going to move on. Since some of you have heard about the Lynette Hooker case, then I think we will start with that one. And before I start, I am going to add a disclaimer to my page. So I'm in fair use regulations and keep everybody happy. So right now we have the notice from fair use, and I'm going to read it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video disc under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which does not infringe of copyright under Title 17 USC number 107. So that is the fair use, and I'm going to go from that directly into now Lynette Hooker. All right, everybody. Well, Lynette Hooker, like I said, I'm not sure what some of you know about her, what you don't, but Lynette Hooker, she grew up in Michigan. She was raised on lakes by the marinas. She spent many, many days on beach shores, even as a young child. All of her memories were, and this is from her daughter and her mother telling us this, that she was an avid swimmer. She loved long distance running. She was a scuba diver. Lynette was classified as a very, very good athlete. So when she had the tragic accident that happened to her, supposedly falling off a dinghy in what her husband claims to be rough seas, there's a lot of people saying that that may not be accurate information. So at this point, I have it, excuse me. That's just a little about got something in my throat now. Starting off really well with this. Anyway, she was a woman full of adventure. She was disciplined. She worked for the same company for over 20 years. And then she ended up meeting her husband, Brian. She had a small daughter, Ansley. And Ansley was about 3 years old when she married Brian and became Mrs. Hooker. So before I go on with what actually has transpired with the Lynette Hooker case, I'm going to take a sip of water first because I'm choking and I'm not sure what's going on. And I want to say hi to some of these people because it's hard for me to see the chat and to read and follow all this at one time. Like I said, this is my first shot at this. I'm doing my best. But Wayne, thank you so much, WE Investigate, for coming in. You are more than welcome to drop the link to your chat. Anybody that has a new page, you are welcome to do that. I would love, Dom C, for you to put your link in. And anybody else. Paige, it's good to have you. Thank you for joining. Tina, it's always good to see you. And I can tell by your comments that you are definitely aware of the Lynette Hooker case. And you're right, it is extremely heartbreaking. And what's difficult for me to understand is why Lynette Hooker's case has not been publicized more. You know, her case is tragic. There is a lot of evidence in it, and it's barely been reported on regular news media. And to be honest, our streamers aren't covering it either. She has a daughter. She has a mother and a stepfather that she loved dearly. And she has a husband who I'm not going to comment on at this time. But it's very unfortunate what happened. And it's extremely, I think, unfortunate that she's not being recognized for the woman she was, and the fact that she is no longer with us. We have not found her. But the only person, and Finn, I just saw your comment, and I was just getting ready to say, the only person that has covered this case extensively has been Ashley Banfield. And she has had excellent coverage. And she has been playing it, I mean, almost daily. She gives updates. She actually went to the Bahamas where it occurred. She has some very reliable sources. And it's very, very sad what's happened. So I'm going to go through the next timeline image and hoping that all of this continues to move smoothly since we had a rough start. There we go. But on April 4th, Lynette Hooker officially vanished. That was the last time anybody saw her. And I cannot believe that I'm so lucky to have Ginger in my chat. Thank you so much, Ginger. It means the world to me that you came in. Thank you so very, very much. And thank you for all of the love and support that you're sending my way. If anybody doesn't know, No Cap Ginger Snap, she is an incredibly wonderful woman. And if any of you would like to come up on stage with me, I would love to have that. Anyway, and Finn, you're right. Ashley Banfield is not going to give up on the Lynette Hooker case. She is extremely devoted to Lynette's daughter and also to her mother and her stepfather. But on April 21st, that was the last known journey that Lynette Hooker ever had. Lynette Hooker had a dream that one day she would be able to sail the seas. That was her dream. Approximately 3.5 years ago, and it may have even been longer from some things I'm seeing lately, Lynette Hooker and her husband, Brian, they purchased the Soulmate. But the Soulmate required approximately 2 years worth of restoration. Lynette sold her home, all of her belongings, that she cashed out every bit of money that she had from working over 20 plus years with, I believe it was AT&T. Brian also worked there. He was in the military, but apparently she was the main breadwinner in the household. She sold everything to get Soulmate, and they put years of blood, sweat, and tears into getting that vessel to where they could start actually going and sailing all different areas. They went to Florida, they went to Mississippi, they were and ultimately they ended up in the Caribbean. That was her true dream. And unfortunately, her dream became her nightmare. And I'm going to take a real quick hello to Angel Eyes. It's great to see you. Thank you for coming in. And again, Dom C, I know you have a relatively new channel. Wayne, I know you do. Please feel free to put your link into the comments and I will post those. And I have no problem if you want to restream this to your own channel. I think as a community, we need to stick together. So, and there is my favorite. Thank you so much. We have the faithful servant. Hello, and thank you for coming. And just if you don't know, the faithful servant is the one that creates all of the wonderful live boat videos that we have seen. He is so great. He's been very, very helpful to me personally with my channel. So the faithful servant, thank you so much for being here. I mean that immensely. You are a true blessing to all of us. And everybody gets a kick out of seeing the live boat. And thank you for giving me such a big part this time. I felt like a celebrity. Anyway, back to Lynette. Between 10 a.m. and 3 a.m., Lynette and Brian apparently left the Soulmate on the dinghy and headed towards the Abaco Islands. There are photos that show that they definitely were heading towards the Abaco Islands. Lynette is wearing a turquoisey green cover-up, similar to what you see in this picture on the screen. It is not the exact one, but similar. Between 4 and 6, they were seen at a bar, which also has a restaurant, and there was witnesses that gives conflicting statements. Oh, Dom C., you only got 2 hours worth of sleep. Bless your heart, sweetheart. And it's understood that around between 7 and 7:30, this says between 7 and 8, but actually between 7 and 7:30, they headed back towards the dinghy. It's an 8-foot dinghy. It has a hard bottom, and it's operated a little bit different than some of the other ones. You physically need a key to start this dinghy. There's usually one in a little compartment, and then the person that's running the dinghy, and from what the family has indicated, and Ansley, who is Lynette's daughter, the dinghy is always operated by Brian. Lynette didn't have anything really to do with the dinghy, but for some reason she had around her wrist the dinghy key. Brian has claimed that he says at approximately 7:30, they were in somewhat rough waters, and that Lynette, literally, as he stated, flipped out of the dinghy. This is at 7:30. It is not dark yet in the Bahamas. You don't even see a complete sunset yet. It is daylight, basically. And Ashley Banfield, if you go back and look at any of her videos, she timed it when she was there at the exact time that he says this happened. There is no way a person would fall into the water and you not be able to see them. He claims that he saw her for a short time, but they started drifting because of the heavy current, which we'll hear about a little bit later, drifted them apart rapidly, and he lost sight of her. That is basically, in a nutshell, what Brian has to say about this. Brian says between 8 and 8:30, approximately, that since he didn't have the key to use the dinghy, which I don't understand, because from what her family has indicated, there was another one on the dinghy. It was in a compartment. If that's true or not, I do not know. It's not been confirmed as of yet by any law enforcement, so it's speculation. So let's just assume he didn't have it, which he claims he did not have it. So he had to use one oar because one either broke, he said, and then later he said one fell off the dinghy, and so he only had one. And you will find throughout this case, there is a lot of discrepancies with what Brian Hooker claims. His stories change immensely. He claims that from at least 8:30, maybe sooner, until approximately 4 a.m. on April 5th, it took him that long to paddle the disabled dinghy toward the land. He had his cell phone. There was no anchor dropped. There was no emergency signal. You could almost see the bottom of the water. He was not in deep waters at that particular location he's claiming it happened in. So he claims it took approximately 9 hours to get to shore and that he had to paddle. And by the time he reached land, he was mentally, emotionally exhausted and grief-stricken that he had not found Lynette. So on April 5th, early morning, there was concerns that Lynette had not returned, and family and friends had not been alerted of this as of yet. Somebody did find Brian in an area of the Abaco Island. He was a little bit disheveled. He claimed he had been trying to get to shore for over 9 hours, that his wife bounced off of the dinghy, and he gave them his story. Well, by mid-morning, the Coast Guard went out, and this is the Bahamian authorities at this time. The U.S. had not intervened, and they came out. There was helicopter crews, and the search started. Brian did not participate at all in that search on April 5th. He was exhausted, and he was tired, and he just wanted to return to the soulmate. The search continued for 4 days. They expanded their surroundings. There was no sightings. There were no distress calls, no witnesses. There was nothing. So Lynette had not been found. And on April 5th, it was actually on April 6th, Brian made the first phone call. He called Lynette's daughter, Ainsley, and he told Ainsley that her mother bounced out of the dinghy and he could not find her. This is a girl now, mind you, that is, I think she's 27. I don't think she's quite 30 yet. She has looked at him as a father figure since she was 3 years old. She had issues with him at times, just like she said she would with any parent. They didn't always agree on things, but to her, Brian was her father. And he calls and makes this one conversation. It's 35 seconds long. Your mom bounced off the dinghy. And guess what? I had to paddle to shore, and it took me over 9 hours, which now we understand shouldn't have taken more than 4 at the maximum. And we haven't found her, but I just thought I'd let you know. And that is the only phone call he made to the family, period. He has never reached out to her again, and she hasn't reached out to him now again either, because she definitely suspects some foul play. But I think that shows right there the type of personality that we were dealing with when it comes to Brian Hooker. Now, the Hookers in general, they do have a history. They have a Facebook page that's called the Sailing Hookers, not the Happy Hookers. Sorry. the Sailing Hookers. And they have many images on that Facebook page of their travels. They did like to party. They enjoyed drinking. Lynette's mother has clarified, when they drank, they were not good together. They would stop, and then it would start again. Lynette's history with Brian goes way back to when one of his daughters was probably 12 years old, and law enforcement had to be called because of his temper. He actually tried to choke and strangle his daughter. Lynette was witness to that. She intervened. She pushed. He pushed back. And she ended up causing some kind of a scratch or something across his eye and his nose. So when police came out, she was arrested, even though he was trying to put his daughter in a hand lock against her throat, up against a wall, and she's 12 or 13 years old. And he was drunk, but he did not go to jail. Lynette did. So that gives you a little more perspective on Brian. Lynette's mother has also indicated that Lynette would call her frequently and let her know they were doing really good, or he's drinking again, and things are not going well. She had left him a few times, but she always went back. So moving forward, we are now at April 14th. The United States has now been brought in. We have the United States Coast Guard, and they, because of forensic information they have found, they've expanded their search to several different areas that Brian never mentioned. Brian did contact two of his friends. When she disappeared, he talked to one of them for approximately 45 minutes, and that call was recorded. His friend said after a few minutes, he realized that something was not making any sense. So he hit record, and he played that recording back for him and his wife several times. And by the end of that conversation, his friend, who he knew very well and was very close also, Lynette was extremely close with his wife, they knew something was not right. They could not understand why he didn't why didn't he drop, if not the life jacket, the little floaties that they sit on in the dinghy. Those are still flotation devices. He claims he threw a green one out. They did find a green one later, but images later have shown that he was sitting on the green one, not Lynette. So we don't know if he actually threw anything out to her or not. But his story timeline changed from what he told authorities, because in the Bahamas, most of the people that came out there, they are all volunteers. They're volunteer fire department, and a lot of law enforcement's volunteer. And then they have regular law enforcement as well. Everybody went out for that search. And every single person that questioned Brian got a different story. And it kept changing. So his friend didn't call him out on it at that time. He didn't tell any authorities really about it at that time. He just wanted to see where things were how they would play out. At that point, everybody was just more concerned with trying to find Lynette. 10 days, though, had passed. She didn't wash up on shore. There are sharks in the area. But they said that if a shark had even gotten to her, a shark is not going to eat her clothing. There would have been some kind of evidence that had been what had happened. So they started to rule that out. Okay, and also, I want everybody to remember, this man was a Marine. Why he couldn't, yes, he jumped into the water to try to reach out to her. Why he didn't there is an anchor in the dinghy. Why didn't he drop anchor? Why didn't he do any things that you and I would even think of doing? I don't swim well. I still know if that is my loved one, you bet you know what? I am going to be in that water. I'm going to do everything I can to find the person I love that I've been with for over 25 years, unless I truly don't want them back anymore. And, I don't usually like to give a point blank opinion until a case is resolved. But right now, it's not looking real good, in my opinion, for Brian. His stories have changed. He hasn't reached out to family. He was questioned by the Bahamian government for 5 days. And Finn, I just saw one of your comments, and I agree with you 100%. And Finn Fan states, I've jumped in ocean for strangers in distress. And thank you for doing that, first of all. And second, I would think that a true Marine would jump in to save anybody's life. Now, he says they drifted apart because of the rough waters. It has now been officially confirmed by law enforcement. The waters were not rough. And it should not have taken him 9 hours to get to shore. That is confirmation from law enforcement and the FBI and the Coast Guard. So that's not just PI 56 saying this. This has officially been stated. On April 8th, Brian Hooker was formally arrested. and questioned by the Bahamian authorities in connection with her disappearance. There had been no remains that were found, and on April 13th, without any charges, after 5 days, Brian is released. Brian did an interview, and I'm going to wait on that. I'm sorry. At that point, on the 21st, Carly, Lynette's daughter, has a very strong feeling that the media has pushed back on this case. She reaches out to some of the different news medias to saying that she wants more coverage, and she didn't get it. She didn't get it except from Ashley Banfield, who reached out to her. And then there's, because she did it, a few other sources did as well. So Brian gets out of jail after, and it wasn't even really jail. They held him for questioning for 5 days. On the 23rd of April, the case receives some national media attention. Don't forget, she was gone as of the 4th. She disappeared on Good Friday, Easter weekend. Lynette's disappearance became in front of a much broader audience all of a sudden. The official search that the Bahamian government had done was paused, and the further investigation was leading more towards a true crime case and starting to look like there could be foul play at that point. Brian, again, he's released, and he claimed in an interview that he did, and I meant to check it and I forgot, and I'm looking at my notes real quick and I don't even see that I have it in my notes. It was either a CBS affiliate, NBC, CBS, or one of those. It wasn't Fox, it wasn't CNN, but one of the media sources met him within hours of him coming out of jail and interviewed him. You can go on YouTube and you can see the video. They asked him some questions. He had lots of crocodile tears, in my opinion, and stated that he would not stop looking for Lynette. And he put his hand up in the air and said, "A higher source will have to drag me away from here." Those were not a quote, but those were basically the words he used. And faithful servant, he is in his mid-50s. And so is Lynette. But he swore in this interview that it would take a higher power to get him out of the Bahamas, that he loved his wife and he would not leave without her. Well, guess what, everybody? He was on a plane the next morning, gone, headed back to the good old USA. He's free and clear with the Bahamian government. However, they did start to do, even though the search for Lynette had basically stopped, the search and getting evidence had not. In May, the investigation actually went deeper, and things started to change a little bit for Brian Hooker. And thank you, Wayne. It was CBS and NBC both interviewed him after his release. Thank you for clarifying that for me. And Lynette's daughter at that point had already went. She was only able to be there for a few days, but Carly did appear. She met with Ashley Banfield. They did a complete search of everything, and she went on to the soulmate. She wanted to see if there was anything on the soulmate that might have shown that her mother really did return to the soulmate. At that time, she had just found out this about her mother like 10 days, a week before. She was distraught. She was there with her boyfriend. She got on the soulmate. She just obtained a few things that were mementos of her mother's that meant a lot to her. Toured the area a little bit, questioned a few people with Ashley Banfield, and then returned home. She couldn't afford to stay longer. Not everybody, her daughter's in like 27 or 28. Not everybody has the money just to hop on a plane and go try to find their mother. And thank God that Ashley Banfield helped her get her GoFundMe page going, because that's about the only way she could have done it. And it is the only way that she's gotten this media coverage. And they actually have done a mini episode series on Netflix of the disappearance in 3 episodes of Lynette Hooker. So Brian returns to the United States. He apparently did not want to make his whereabouts known at first, but I understand he went to Oregon, he went to Washington, and then he ultimately went back to his home state of Michigan. And you are right, Dom C. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, and it's even in part of my narrative I was going to do. Tick tock, because Brian, I think you're going to go down. And people keep saying, but why is it taking so long? Well, the reason it's taking so long is in a nutshell, and I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit because we have other things to talk about, and I want feedback from you guys. It's taking longer because, again, the United States got involved. The Bahamian government has treated this case really well. They did all of their investigating. They did what they felt they needed to do, and they gave the United States complete authority to come back in again, to search new searches. And if they felt the need to question Brian, they did not need authorization from the Bahamian government. And because this happened in open waters out of the U.S. government, out of the U.S. country, sometimes there's some different things that you have to go through. They are cooperating very well with the United States on this case. But by late June, there were just multiple agencies that were involved. There was ongoing questioning. They had now seized the soulmate. They'd seized the dinghy. They found forensic evidence, and then the bombshell. Apparently, and I'm not really good with some of the descriptions of all of these things on a boat. I love boats, but I'm not a boater. I'm not a sailor. I have no idea what some of these things mean. But there was an 11-hour time frame where the soulmate, everything just stopped. Everything stopped on the soulmate. It's like it didn't exist for 11 hours. Brian is extremely knowledgeable with electronics, technology, and different equipment. So for that 11-hour period, was the soulmate always moored at that same spot, or did he take it out? There was a vessel that was next to it. It's the Azura. The Azura became a big thing. Supposedly, people said they thought they heard something fall off of the soulmate with a very large sound. Apparently, Lynette had some exercise equipment. It was not on the soulmate, but it was weights, and they were gone. So people were speculating. Again, I say this is speculation. Did something happen to her, and did he toss her off the soulmate? Did that cause that large splash sound that some people claim they heard? Again, this is nothing confirmed yet by law enforcement. Doesn't mean it's not true. They just haven't stated it's true yet. And this Azura that was moored right next to them, they have, everybody keeps asking, you can get information from the mooring where it was moored. There's records. When it entered the area, they have records on it. The boat name, they have records by that. And everybody keeps questioning, well, why aren't we hearing anything more about who was on the Azura? Do they have any information? Did they ever see the boat leave and come back? Was there a fight? They're not giving out any information on the Azura, which makes me believe they have contacted the Azura, and there is probably some information that's going to be used in this case. But Brian, who had his technology for marine equipment, is extremely sophisticated. So personally, I think he's full of crap. And I'm just going to put it out there. Law enforcement now, to kind of wrap this up, have determined all of his statements. Every single piece of communication he has given to law enforcement, phone calls to his friends, nothing matches up. The digital evidence, his phone, the electronic devices, forensics, nothing matches with what he says at all. He has an attorney that he got early on For a long time, nobody has seen him. And then eventually he is spotted in Michigan with his biological daughter at a mall with a lot of shopping bags in his hands. They're doing some real heavy duty shopping. They named stores that they saw him and her in. He doesn't have any income. He's got a small bit of money coming to him from the military. Apparently he used whatever little bit he had from AT&T. He's broke. He has no money. So he's living with his daughter, who apparently, like I said, she's his biological daughter. So apparently she's understanding and forgiving and doesn't think he's done anything wrong, or she's just protecting him. But they're out on a shopping spree. But yet this man won't come forward and give an interview once he hit the United States. And nobody in the United States has questioned him. The reasoning that I believe that has happened is they have the soulmate, and they've sent parts of it to Quantico. They have sent the parts of the dinghy to Quantico. They are going to, my opinion, when they bring him in for questioning, I truly believe that will be the last time he sees the outside world, other than looking through bars in front of him in a jail cell. And that's my opinion of Brian Hooker. I think they have so much on him right now. And I truly believe that this case will be solved. And the big thing that is, it's been confirmed, but I can't get it in writing to see it. I'd have to probably request records that I have not done. However, there are statements that there was something that transpired on the soulmate, that Lynette did make it back to the soulmate. Did she flip out of the dinghy? Maybe she did, but she was an excellent swimmer. Probably better than him and a lot smarter, that's for damn sure. She might have made it back to the soulmate. Apparently a flare went up that night, but it didn't go in the direction that it should have went for help. It should have went straight up instead of went horizontal. So most people would look at that and think, that's probably just a mistake. And it was only one. Law enforcement believes right now, 100%, that she did make it back to the soulmate, and that's where something happened to her. Or I don't think he bothered to drag her back to the soulmate if something had happened. I think they got back. I believe they were probably both intoxicated. There was a fight, something happened. And I do believe personally that he took the boat back out, the soulmate, and dumped her in an area of higher seas. If not, I think she would have been found. I do believe her remains would have been found by now. So I do believe that the next thing that we will hear is that the United States has contacted his attorney, and his attorney says, you need to go in for questioning. And I do think once he's questioned, I do not believe he will be released. That's just my personal opinion. So that is my take on Lynette Hooker. I would love for her story to be shared more. This woman was a beautiful woman. She cared about people dearly. She has a family. She has a daughter who is not emotionally doing well at all. I follow her daughter on Facebook. You can tell by the pictures of her daughter and the comments that she's making. The comments are what scares me. They're disturbing. This girl she's in a dark place right now. And I thank God that it seems like the man in her life, her boyfriend, and I think now they're actually engaged, he seems to care so much about her. And I'm praying to God that he keeps her protected. Her elderly mother is a mess. Her stepfather says he never wants to see Brian because he's not so sure what he might do to her. And somebody in the chat asked a question and I missed it. And I'm trying to see. Yes. Okay. Finn, on your question about, yes, I did see the pictures of them at the pool that night. And Finn Fan says, PI 56, did you see the last pics of them at the pool that night? How distant they were towards each other. Yes, he was completely off in one area he looked like he was sitting there pouting like a little 5-year-old with his head down. She's off on the other end. For a while, she's sitting. And then all of a sudden, she gets up and she's just dancing and moving because there's music playing in the background from the bar. And she looks like she's having a good time. And Finn, you made me think of something. She had purchased an actual plane ticket and called her mother a few days before and said, I am leaving him. I have a ticket. I'm done. Maybe that's what pushed him over the edge. Maybe he realized that his free ride, not in a vehicle, but on the soulmate, was going to be over because he can't make it on his own. He's living with his damn daughter. He's a grown man who was in the military. Get your butt back to work. And why did you not ever search for your wife? I'm sorry. To me, that shows total disrespect for her family, and I don't think he gave two hoots about if he found her or not. That is just my blatant PI 56 opinion. And that's where I'm going to leave it for right now. And I'm going to talk to my chat for a little while. Cases and conversation. It is wonderful to see you here. Thank you so much for joining me. Just Max Live. Hello. Gosh, I'm so touched to see how many people are in here. It's making me really happy. Sandy, I don't think I got a chance to say hi to you or Mary Ann. And there is my sweet sister, Misty. Hello, Misty. I love you. I'm glad to see you here. So that is what I have come to the conclusion with the disappearance of Lynette Hooker. Is anybody interested in hopping up on stage and having a little brief discussion with me, or in the comments, however you'd like to do it? If you'd like to come up, I would love to have you. And if not, then we will be moving on to the next case. But I really would like to talk about this one a little bit more. Some of you've got to have some opinions. And I see I'm behind in my chat. I didn't think that would be possible, but Marie Burney 578. You've got that right, sweetheart. There is definitely, it's TikTok for Brian. And Jaylene asked, are they going to arrest the guy? Well, based on what I just commented about and what I believe is, yes, I do believe he's going to be arrested, but I do not think he will get questioned in the United States until they have every bit of solid evidence. So there's no ambiguity. They can put the cuffs on him. They can throw him in jail and have a trial, and that guy's gone. He's history then. So I do think he's going to be, I think he's going to be charged. Pretty Little Clues. Hello, everybody. Hello to you. And I don't even think I said happy Sunday to my chat. With my intro not working from the very beginning, it kind of threw me off guard. I got up this morning and things I saved last night disappeared. So I was a little unorganized this morning. And thank you all for being so patient and understanding. But there's just, Wayne, you said drop the link. What link are you referring to? I'm not sure if you're talking to me or to somebody else. Oh, the street. God, I'm telling you guys, if you'd like to jump in and talk, I would love to have you. Okay, you'd like the link to the StreamYard. Just, color PI 56 dumb today. Not with it. And yes, I am going to drop the link. That didn't work. Okay. Let's try it a different way. All righty. I believe, let me scroll back down. There is the link. Can somebody try it and tell me if it's working? Yay, Sandy says it's there. Misty, Fin, Wayne, Dom C, any of you, if you've got any guts, you'll get up here with this new gal and give me a hand. I want to see somebody up on stage with me. So I'm calling you out. Come on, you guys, you can do better than that. I don't want to move on to the next case until I get somebody up here with me. Okay. Well, then I guess, do you want me to move on to the next case? Because the next case is going to probably be rather controversial to some of you. And I'm not getting any response. So the link is there. You guys, I would love to have somebody pop in. It would be great to have you up here. Misty is in the studio. And I have never done this before. And there she is. I'm going to add the wonderful little Misty. Hey, Misty. Mwah. It's so good to see you. Can you hear me okay, hon?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And thank you.
Yes, I love this.
Well, thank you. I'm just so excited that you're here. I can't believe it. I can't believe how many people are here.
I'm so honored to be here.
Oh, bless your heart, sweetheart. So what do you think? You always give your true opinion, and that's what I love about you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So in this case, it's confusing, and I've not really kept up with it too much, so I love that you're covering it. Because I don't know all the details, but I'm kind of back and forth with my opinion on it. But I'm going to leave it to you to tell us everything about it, because look at you go, girl. Look at you go. Like you told me more than I even knew about it. So this is awesome.
I have followed this case from day one. And when I say I have 14 cases I'm working, that is the truth. I have 14 solid cases that are going on right now that nobody else seems to be covering other than, and I'm not, believe me, Nancy Guthrie case is just, it's gut wrenching, but there's not much to cover that's new. And I don't want to keep saying the same stuff over and over again. And I refuse to manufacture rumors and more speculation just to keep it going. I'm not going to do that. If my channel's going to make it based on truth, facts, and yes, we all have opinions, and I want the opinions. That broadens our perspective and our mind, and we can think about things differently. But absolutely. I am not going to, everything I do is not going to be breaking news. Woohoo, we got breaking news. That's just not me. It's not my personality. So, but since you, and based on what you did here, what is it that you're not too sure about? Because in a nutshell, you have a man that went and, with his wife on the dinghy from their boat. They went to a bar. They had a few drinks. They do drink too much. I believe she drinks when he drinks. I don't think she tends to drink as much. And I don't think and she doesn't get violent. He's the one with the temper. She flips out of the dinghy. Was a Marine. And he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he doesn't. He saves himself basically. Any real man will go down trying to save his woman.
Even if they wanted to get a divorce, and she did. She was, like I said, she had a plane ticket to go to her mother's. She was done. Now, she said this before, and she went back to him. But I think this time he might have believed it.
And so you're giving me information I didn't even know. That's so awesome.
Yeah,
now that brings a different perspective to my opinion, for sure.
I think, like I said, she was the breadwinner. She cashed in everything, sold the home they lived in that was in her name. Nothing was in his name. Not one thing was in his name. So she cashed out everything she had to buy this soulmate, which was the sailboat. And it was a mess when they got it. It needed complete refurbishing. It's like buying a house for $50,000 and you flip it for $300,000 or something. Well, that was way back in the old days. Now it would be, he'd buy it for 500, flip it for $1 million. But it needed total renovation. They spent over 2.5 years working on the Soulmate. They did great working together doing it. They did good when they used it on short little jaunts. Things went to hell really bad when they started heading into Florida and then from Florida towards the Bahamas. But
And
I,
somebody in the chat, go ahead.
no, you go ahead, Ann.
Somebody in the chat asked, where was it? But they were on like a canoe, right?
It's not a
Flips.
canoe. It's a 8-foot dinghy. It's not the same as some dinghies. It didn't, to me, it looked like it was a little more wobbly. I will admit to that, but it does have a hard bottom. It's got the side of it, and it's 8 feet. So for two people to be sitting on one side, and what they're sitting on are actual flotation pads. He could have he threw one out, or one fell out, but it happens to be the one that he was sitting on. So he claims he jumped into the water, but because the water was rough, which it's been now acknowledged by law enforcement, no, the waters were not rough at that time. They did get rough later in the evening, much later, but they weren't at that time. So it also has an anchor. He didn't drop anchor. If I think somebody's overboard on any, I don't care if I'm on a 4-foot little canoe,
Right.
and somebody is overboard, I'm going to drop anchor, because if I can't find them, at least I can get back into the boat and save my life. He claims it took him 9 hours, and what they're saying is for where he claims he was at when this happened, and to reach the shoreline. So the boat's here, the shoreline's here. It took 9 hours because he had to paddle with one hand because the other paddle had broke. This is a Marine that knew how to swim, a Marine that's been on a sailboat for over 3 years and
let me
has the
paddle
best.
out of here when my woman is back there somewhere. No way.
Yeah.
No way
So
somebody would do that unless they're guilty of something or trying to get away. Yeah.
and then later in the case, like I said, initially that's what everybody was believing, and then once the United States and the Bahamian government got more involved in the investigation and compared notes and people coming forward with recorded phone calls he'd made for 45 minutes to a couple of his friends, and the stories are totally different, they started to think, you know what? And then when his navigation system on the Soulmate went black for 11 hours, no history, nothing. That's when they started saying his timeline's off, and that Soulmate probably was unmoored and left that spot that night. I honestly do believe that they had a confrontation on the boat. I don't ever, she may have, like I said, if she flipped off, she flipped off. She was a good enough swimmer. Her daughter says she could have swam that from the bar area they were at to the Soulmate. She could have swam that, she said, in 45 minutes and been back on the Soulmate. That she was a great swimmer. So even if she flipped overboard and they drifted apart a little bit, she may have said, screw you, you go do your thing, you're drunk, you'll come back when you come back, you've got the dinghy, I'm swimming back to the Soulmate. I do think she made it to the Soulmate. I don't know if I believe that she even ever flipped off of the dinghy. She might have, but I do think she made it back to the Soulmate. I believe that they had a confrontation, and I don't know if it was intentional. Maybe he struck her with something. I think it's very odd, though, that they say that they know for a fact she had weights because she was in good shape for her age, especially, but she liked to lift weights and had exercise equipment on that vessel. It was not there when they seized it. And people are saying they heard a large splash, not just like throwing something light over a boat. I hate to say this, it's morbid to say this, but did he attach weights to her after something would happen to her and toss her overboard? Or did he physically take the Soulmate out and then toss her overboard? Because if he'd done it where they were moored, they said there was a good chance that sharks could, but they couldn't have gotten all of her clothes. Sharks don't eat clothing. That's not a common thing. So they said there would have been something. When he gave descriptions to the police of what she was wearing, okay, she had on it's a two-piece, but kind of the type that covers your stomach area so it doesn't show, and kind of like shorts, but a two-piece type bathing suit. She had a little turquoise cover up over it, and she had a headband. She always wore headbands. Matter of fact, that was one of the things, and it makes me feel very sad to hear this, but that's one of the things that when her daughter came out and went on the Soulmate, she saw her mom had all of her headbands hanging on this one area in the bathroom, and she took all of her mother's headbands because her mother used to make them and she loved to wear them. And she had the headband on. You see her with in the pictures that, Finn made a comment in the chat. They're at the pool out by the Apicote Inn where they had the bar and the restaurant. They're out by the pool, and he's sitting way off in the corner. She's over in another area, and then she gets up and she starts dancing. She's just moving around, having a good old time. She's got her description is with the turquoise little thing on. She's got the headband. It looks like she's got a fanny pack or something else on her as well. But when he gave a description, if you really have somebody that's missing, I don't care if it's from a boat, from their home, where, and they ask for a description, aren't you going to tell them every single thing that you know that person might have had on them? That to me was also, that was a red flag to me as well. Because when they searched, they wouldn't be, if they found something that he didn't say, they could have seen maybe a little turquoise shirt or something and not even thought that it had anything to do with Lynette, because he didn't give that in the description. So to me, there's too many things that are not consistent with Brian Hooker. And the fact that he went back to Michigan when he swore in front of 2 media stations that a higher power would have to get him out of there, that he would not leave without his wife. And he's gone within 14 hours of being released from jail. He couldn't. And he had an attorney who expedited him to get a new passport to get him out of the Bahamas.
Wow.
And then he gets out of the Bahamas and he doesn't want to be seen for 2 or 3 weeks. And then you see him shopping at a mall with his daughter.
Oh my gosh.
So
you're amazing. Like how I've not kept up with this case. I know about it, but for you to know all these details, you were on it, girl. You are on it. I love it.
I'm a sleuth. You can ask my husband. My husband would tell you in a heartbeat, my God, why did you not become a detective? And it's because I chose working in administrative healthcare instead, because I love the elderly. So I worked in geriatric healthcare for 30 years. But I will tell you, if one of them ever lied to me or moved their medicine bottle because they could still take their own medications, I could tell you if they move, I'd go and say, oh, do you have a headache today? Did you already take your Advil? How do you know? Because the bottles move this much from where I know it's kept. So I notice everything.
Can't hide anything from you, right? Not hide anything from you.
No. I had 2 friends growing up that both had adoptive fathers, and they were both they're 2 separate people I knew. And they were both looking for their adopted or their biological fathers when they got older. And I said, if I can help, let me know. And they said, if you can do anything, let me know. Well, the internet was out, but it was not what it is today. But I dug and dug. I was working 14-hour days easily, and I'd get home at night and I did more research. And that was the most rewarding thing, one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. I located both of their fathers.
Oh,
and guess what? Both of their fathers wanted to be reunited with their daughters.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you.
That to me was just, that's when I realized I could, between that and, we've talked about this, losing my siblings and trying to keep their cases going and being a voice for them. it just turned me into a little detective. And that's why PI 56 to me is not just a YouTube channel. It means a lot to me. These people that Lynette Hookers and the Nancy Guthries, or the next case that I'm going to be talking about in a minute, which, like I said, it's controversial. And some people may not like what I have to say about it. She is alive, though. But I still want to be a voice for people. And So this is my little, at 70, I am 2 weeks, actually, I am 20 days today shy of being 70 years old. And I will do this hopefully until the day I die.
Well, happy early birthday.
Well, I'm going to have a big birthday online, honey. I'm going to have a birthday bash online.
Are we invited?
Well, how can I have a birthday bash online with my subs if you guys aren't invited? Yes, you are my family. You are my friends. Other than my
So
husband,
excited.
you're my world. I don't have any other living family. So you guys are my family now. Now, I did see at one time that Wayne made a comment about coming in. Do you mind if I bring Wayne on with you?
Absolutely.
All right. Wayne,
Absolutely.
I don't know if Wayne, did you jump out?
Did he give up?
He's Wayne, you're still in the chat because I can see you. So Wayne, if you're in there, you need to bring your butt up here and you can sit right next to Misty.
You cannot hide, Wayne.
And I know, Wayne, you would like to sit next to Misty. I'm talking to my chat. I feel like an idiot. I'm sitting here looking at my chat, talking to it. Wayne, get your butt up here. All right. Well, he's not going to. Would you like to stay up on here for a little while I discuss this next case? And you being a nurse is really important to me. And that's why I was hoping you would join me. Are you familiar? I hate to say it because I know I'm going to get hell for this in certain ways. Oh, wait a minute. Wayne, I'm here. Got to add me. Well, you're not showing. Wait a minute. Wayne, I don't show you backstage, my dear. Wait a minute.
Figure it out, Wayne.
Oh. Wayne, my bad. Guess what? You got to make the screen bigger to see you. I'm so sorry. He's been sitting there patiently. I am adding. I didn't know I had to scroll my page down lower. And I'm too short. I'm just a little shorty. I can't even see my. I'm sorry. I'm a goofball.
No, this is great.
Okay. And just so you guys do. What is it? Where's the Wayne face? There it is. That's what I wanted to see. Was the face.
Oh, hello.
Wayne.
In his beautiful house. That piano.
Thank you, Wayne.
Love it.
Thank you for joining me.
Come on over, Misty. You can play my piano anytime you get ready.
I'm on my way.
Don't get him started. You'll end up in a whole different direction.
Interior decorator that I have.
Yeah. You know what, Wayne?
What's up?
There's a house that I saw that was almost like that, but I decided I liked my studio better. So, and my studio was hand done by.
Yours is nice.
I decorated. I did. This is actually this is my room at my home, but this is not what it looks like. I redecorated it for my channel, but this is my PI 56 room, and take down all the PI 56 with, and this is my house. So
looks nice.
She'll fix yours, Wayne. She'll help you out.
Yeah,
I sure would appreciate that because I suck at it.
I'm touching you on the screen, but you can't tell. I'm giving you a little nose thump on the screen, telling you. Anyway, you guys are cracking me up. Now, Misty and Wayne, and you guys know me a little better than some of these other people in here. And Tina, thank you for the comment. I am very serious when it comes to, where did he go? He just did he get kicked out? He's not in here. Yep, he's not in here anymore. So, because I have my screen open this time. I have enlarged the page. So now I will see.
It is not you this time. It is Wayne. He'll figure it out.
Let me see what this one is. It says, oh, you know what? There's also a backstage notice on here. It says, I was backstage. Poor guy had been sitting back there for 15 minutes. But it does not show he's backstage now. So I'm sure he'll come back to us.
Bless his heart. Yeah, he'll figure it out.
Wayne, you got I like that. Everybody says, Wayne, get your butt back up there. And hello, Rot Dog Mama. Did I say that right? Rot Dog Mama. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And if there's anybody I miss, and Bluebird, I see you. I'm so glad that you are here too. I am thrilled. Wayne's coming back. Let's add him back. Wayne, what the heck did you do?
Get yourself together, Wayne. Get yourself together.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's all
I
right.
was not logged in, so I logged in and it kicked me out. So now
Gotcha.
I'm back.
All right. The next case, and Misty, like I said, if there's any part of this that you would like to jump in on, I would love to hear it. It is controversial. It is an extremely sad case. I want to tell everybody right up front. I am not going to, and I didn't use any graphics of children in this. I refuse to do that. And I'm not going to get real graphic. I'm obviously going to have to give a description of their passing, but I refuse to get graphic into any real heavy details. And that's out of respect for those 3 lovely children that are no longer with us, and for a father that is deeply grieving that loss. And that is the Lindsay Clancy trial that is ongoing right now. So I don't know.
I was just watching some of the
That
people. Yes,
it
that's,
is a
I
highly
am familiar
emotional
with this
case.
one. I got this one.
All right. Well, I am going to click up, not yet, but I've got some. Now with you, and I'm asking you guys because I'm new at this. If I have you up here and I click some of my slideshow, will it just push you aside off to the left and put up this picture of the slideshow?
I'm not the one to ask. I've never
Yeah,
even been on.
it should do that when you add it to the stage. It should
Okay,
put us
let me see what happens. It's not going to lose you guys, but it may not come up. But let me try this real quick.
Yeah.
Yay! It worked.
Look at that.
Look at the
And a
little
lot of
things.
times, I was going to tell you, Janice, when you share a screen like that, you got to make sure that the volume is on whatever that you're sharing. That may be why you couldn't hear earlier when you were
Well,
playing.
the other thing I was playing is just my intro. And boy, I heard earlier when I tested it, it was loud and clear. It's like, okay, I've heard enough about PI 56. It's making me sick. I mean, I've played it so many times, but I wanted it as an intro. But I don't know what happened with that,
I was
because
the
I hear
same
you
way
guys
about my
great.
phone.
So,
I
but
wanted my
anyway,
song so
Great.
bad, but once I got it and heard it a few times, I was like, okay, I'm over that now.
yeah, I've changed a few things, but
Right.
now,
You're doing awesome.
thank
You've done a
you.
great job.
On this particular case, Lindsay Clancy, and I'm going to actually read this from here because I've put a lot of thought into this case. It is not easy, and I'm going to be very honest with all of you. A lot of cases I think I could be a juror on very well, very easily, and be what you need to be as a juror. I could not do it with this case. This case has got me torn in 2 different directions. And I will just start off with Lindsay Clancy. And this is a little bit about her prior to what I call that fatal day. Before the headlines, Lindsay Clancy was Lindsay Musgrove, a high-achieving, compassionate woman from Wallingford, Connecticut. She was a devoted nurse, a loving wife, and a dedicated mother who built her life around care, structure, and family. Becoming a nurse to her meant, according to her family and even her in-laws, that being a nurse was what she felt God put her on this earth to do, was to care for others. She excelled in one of the nation's most demanding nursing programs and spent 9 years as a labor and delivery nurse, which makes this case even more difficult because of what she did. She was bringing lives into this world. So to have her be the person to take 3 beautiful lives out of it is very hard for me to understand. At home, she created a life filled with routines, milestones, and the love of 3 beautiful children. Even as she faced postpartum anxiety, Lindsay sought help, followed every treatment plan, fought to stay well, fought for her marriage, she fought for her children, and she actually fought for her own life. Before that fatal day, Lindsay Clancy was a woman defined by love, dedication, and determination, not by the tragedy that happened later. And that's just a little bit about Lindsay prior to January of 2023. So this case is not a new case. It's been out there for a while. But Lindsay, basically, in a nutshell, After the birth of her third child, she had two, and then her third one, Lindsay started developing some mental issues. She was depressed. She had severe anxiety, the insomnia, exhaustion, and she started to have intrusive thoughts. And she sought professional help. And I want to elaborate on that for one reason. Many people have already made a complete 100% determination on guilt or innocence in this case. I have not yet, because I haven't heard the whole case. I know a lot about it. I've done pages worth of, I've got 5 notebooks sitting here next to me of research about psychosis, postpartum psychosis, mental illness in general. And it's not something that I can see that you just put in a little isolated box. And everybody's different. And I think just like grief, I think we all handle grief differently. I think we may all handle different types of mental illness differently as well. So like I said, I don't have a determination yet on this actual case, but in late 2022, she started getting treatment because of increasing complications, multiple psychiatric evaluations, and in early 2023, she started to go to a different doctors, I should say. So she did hop from one doctor to another, and she did that for about a year. It's because she couldn't figure out what was wrong, and she did not want them handing her pill after pill after pill, telling her to take this, and you'll feel better. Try this, and you'll feel better. And so she was having a hard time with the medications. In 2022, in January, in the early part of January, she voluntarily admitted herself to the McLean Hospital for psychiatric treatment. Unfortunately, she was discharged within a few short days. They did change her medications, and she was improving somewhat. She did go to her husband around that time, and he was very aware of all of the situation. She also kept journals, writing her thoughts and her feelings. And even in this post that's up here right now, it says in quotes, "I just want the fog to lift. I want to feel like myself again." That's taken from her journal. And in her journal and in her discussions with her husband, she says many times, "I don't want to be taking medication. Why can't I get back to myself? Why am I tired?" She never at that point made any signs at all of anything where she was, even at that point yet, she wasn't at the point of even self-harming, let alone harm to anybody else. He then got much more active, involved with doctors, went to her appointments with her, and would say, "This doctor just gave her these 3 prescriptions. You want to give her these 3 new prescriptions. Should she not take those anymore and just take the 2? Well, she can take this one for a little while, but not too long until the other ones kick in." Well, what's not too long? Now, granted, she was a nurse. She researched. That's in her journals as well. And she came up with sometimes her own method of what she was going to take because she did not believe in all of these medications. So as time progressed, her situation got worse as well. On January 24th in 2023, that's the day that everything changed. The day began as an ordinary day, and around 5:15 that evening, she had talked to her husband. I believe her husband was actually home in the garage, and she asked him if he could go pick up her medication at CVS, which is in Kingston, and there's a restaurant called 3V, and she wanted to call in something for an order to go. He did. There was no reason for him. She was acting fine. She was perfectly normal. He went to go do these things. While he was gone, it is alleged that Lindsay killed her 3 children. And at this time, on the 24th, they say alleged. It is confirmed. She did kill her 3 children. That is not the question of this case at all. The question of this case is not if she killed her 3 children. She's admitting that. She knows that she realizes what she did. This case is, or the trial is, and the question is her criminal responsibility that led to their death. That's what the case is ultimately about. Patrick left to run these errands, and he returned home. He found Lindsay. They have a 2-story house, and they're in a semi-secluded area. He found Lindsay outside, laying on the ground. She's bleeding, and her body, he said, looked deformed. Something looked wrong. He found that Lindsay was outside the house after she had cut her neck, she had cut her wrist, and she had jumped from the 2nd-story window. And he asked her, she was in and out of consciousness, where were the children? His office was in the basement of their home, and she was able to tell him the children were in the office. He went down to the office, and 2 of his children were not breathing, and one of them was breathing very shallow. He called 911. They came out. Somebody was treating her, and they were treating the children. 2 of the children, they did not make it at all. The youngest that she had made it for 3 days in the hospital and then did not survive. The children were strangled by the elastic exercise ropes around their neck. They were strangled. She, by jumping out of her 2-story house window, and her cuts, really, they are saying, they were severe, but they were not severe enough that it would have been life-threatening. The cut to her neck and also her wrists, they were superficial, but there were several. But the jump was a very bad jump, and Lindsay Clancy is now paralyzed from just slightly above the waist down. She has movement of her arms, and she can speak, but she was in the hospital almost for a full year, having 2 types of treatment, actually. Medication treatments for her psychosis, which she definitely got better from, but also the treatment and recovery and rehabilitation because of her jumping out of the window. Because of that was over a year, so that also prolonged the case. All of this, like I said, started after her 3rd child. And the main points that I have put up on the screen is after the birth of her third child, she started having the exhaustion, being overwhelmed, and some of the mental health issues and depression. She sought health from that point on. By late 2022, she was getting treatment. She got more treatment towards beginning of January 2023. And that's when she checked herself into the hospital. And there's reports, and now that the case has already started, the reports depends on who you ask. Her defense team is saying she did everything possible to get the help she needed. She indicates that she started to hear voices. She did tell her husband she heard voices that sounded controlling, demanding, and it was not her. But it was never an issue ever brought up about doing any harm to the children. She did indicate to him shortly before he had her admitted again that she was contemplating thoughts of suicide. Well, unfortunately, within days that changed, and she committed the act that she committed. Stayed a year or so in jail, got treatment, and since then, she has been in a mental facility with ongoing treatment to prepare her for this case. One thing that I did find out yesterday, because they had not discussed it yet in the trial, it now has been discussed, so I was able to get more information that I wanted on the actual medication. In a 4-month period, 3 doctors had not had her on, but she was given prescriptions for medications, 14 different types of medications in a
Yeah.
4-month period. Missy, I'm sure you know this. I know it from healthcare, and most people just know this. You get that many. Now, she never took that many at one time, but if you're taking one medication and the doctor says, don't take this anymore, start taking this, you still have that medication, the other medication in your body for a time frame. They vary on how long they stay in your system. But I think 14 different prescriptions in 4 months makes me very concerned about our doctors and what they're giving people when it comes to mental health.
Right. And I have to say, I've been watching the trial, and they have her prescription bottles. So, what was prescribed to her? And again, this is the trial that I'm watching. I don't know anything other than what I've seen. She was not actually taking the medications, and saying that she was still not feeling better, still
Right.
depressed.
And that
But
is what you're going to see in the next slide, I believe. Maybe it's not this one. Maybe it might be the next one. Her medication bottles were checked. She was not taking the amount of medications prescribed. Some bottles were almost full, like she never even touched them. Was it wise for her to decide on her own what to take and not to take? No, that's not her field of expertise. However, I still think it's an incredible amount of medication to be prescribed to one person in a 4-month period of time to know what might work and might not work. Her medication list is it blows my mind when I see them, because I'm familiar with what most of them are. So you have now in the courtroom 2 sides, and you've got 2 separate cases. One, you have an attorneys fighting that she committed murder. Okay, she did kill her children, but you have the other side saying, did she know what she was doing? Was she herself criminally responsible for this activity based on her mental condition? And that's a hard thing for me to wrap my mind around. I know a lot of people that have had severe depression and they're on medication. I know a couple people that have had some psychosis issue. You can go by textbook, you can go by science, all of the experts, but how do we really know? I'm kind of pulling myself away from the case and not even saying her, but if somebody's going through something, how do we truly know what is in their head? And I almost hate to say this, but many, 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 many years ago, in my early 20s, and Missy, I think you do know part of this, when my brother passed away and I was in Georgia and had to fly to Miami and then to Venezuela. I told you, I think, when I was in 857's chat, I had extremely bad panic attacks. I was claustrophobic, agoraphobic. I wanted to go out of the house. And I was on I was on one medication, basically. I had to do this, so I did it. I overcame it. But there were times in the very beginning, and I'm being very vulnerable by saying this. I was in my 20s, and there were a couple times where these little thoughts would go into my head. And I know damn well those were not my thoughts. And I never acted on them. But there were times that I literally was on the floor begging God not to let anything happen, for me not to do any of these crazy things going on in my head. And I thank God that I went and got treatment. It's just something, I had some issues. Changed. I was on a hormone medication at a very young age because I had a hysterectomy very young, and I was out of balance. Things were not right. So I don't know what she heard in her head. And a textbook can tell me one thing, and a doctor can tell me one thing, but who truly knows what was in this woman's head? She claims that there was, in court and in her notes, that they have gotten since she's up, not since this has happened, not in her journal, but there are notes that she is given that she heard distinct voice that day, a male dominant voice telling her step by step what to do. And she did not at all realize what was happening. To her, that voice had taken over her body. Is that possible? I don't know. I don't know. That's why I couldn't be on that jury. But regardless, her husband left, and I know this is my speculation I'm going to throw out there. He left to run some errands. Do we really know that he wasn't? I don't think he was involved. But I wonder, how do we know that he wasn't involved? If she's out of it, she's hearing male voices. Could he maybe have been involved? When I see him on the stand, I say, no way. That man is grieving. He's broken. But this case is hard. It's difficult. It is a woman who I do believe loved her children. And she had every warning sign of needing help. And that brings me to the point of a lot of cases right now. You've got people that are saying, at the moment, I was like temporarily out of it. I had a breakdown. I was going through a mental illness crisis. And I say bullshit to most of them. It's an excuse. That's my opinion. I think we're using mental health issues and mental health crises as a scapegoat for some of these people committing crimes.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular case, no, I think this case really revolves around mental health. And the problem we have is, okay, if she's convicted of murder, she goes to jail. Is that really where a person, if this is all valid, do they belong in a jail? We do not have any facilities of any decency, I'm going to say, in this country anymore. We closed them all years ago, all of our mental facilities. The few and far between that we have that I've looked up online, most of them have got a 35 to 40% rating of how good they are. They're not. They stick you in a corner, they medicate you, and you sit and drool all day long. I saw that in the nursing home. So part of the problem is we have a broken system when it comes to mental health. We have too many doctors that, people say they can't get medication when they need it for pain or something because the doctors are afraid they're going to get hooked on a painkiller. But yet we've got psychiatrists that are handing it out left and right. And you can go to 2 or 3 doctors and probably, it's monitored to a point. But we've got 2 issues here. Like I said, where does she need to be? In jail or in a mental facility for the rest of her life? That's what her life will be, but she can possibly get the treatment she may need. But we don't have those types of facilities. Or she'll stay in. Yeah. So I'm not sure where she may end up other than jail. I do know that there have been several, it's states, and it's not a nationwide thing, but there are several different states that have put in for funding to reopen buildings that were never a mental institute building before. And I hate that word institute, but so I'm going to say facility, but a mental facility to start, because there's so much of it out there now. And since COVID happened, COVID triggered a lot of mental issues for people because of the seclusion, because of not being able to be next to their loved one when they died. It caused a lot of problems for a lot of people. Medication has helped a lot of those people. Mm-hmm. Some of them still haven't returned back to work and they need help. But just going to a psychiatrist to me is not the only answer, getting medication. Putting somebody, if somebody, and I just, Perez Hilton, his case the other day, which is absolutely horrific. And I'm so glad I didn't see it. But he needs help. Where do these people go to get the help? The people that really need it, we need more facilities in this country to help them.
I
Mental
agree.
health, mental health, and blaming everything you do. And I'm going to bring up, you have had now, I just drew a blank on his name, Tyler Robinson. Okay. He shoots an executive from an insurance company point blank in the back. He claims he thinks he had a little mental health issue that happened. That got squashed. The judge said, no, that's not going to play into this case. But he tried it. I just,
I,
what about the one that killed Charlie Kirk? He's saying now that he didn't even do it, but he's saying that, or his family saying that he's had some mental issues. Okay, if you're the family and you're saying your son's had some mental issues, red flag, get him some help. So it's such a broad area. And I could spend
mhm.
months on this, on just mental illness alone. But
And
with this, go ahead, hon.
I have to agree. In this case, I don't think she was accepting the help that she was offered. And I know many people that have mental illness, they may take medication for a little bit. They're like, okay, I'm good now. And they stop taking it, which only intensifies their mental illness when they stop taking the medication. Um, you warned me about this being controversial. Yeah, absolutely. Because she was not using the help that she was given.
Okay,
And she, yeah,
let me ask you this then. Now, I am, like I said, I have not made a judgment on this case one way or the other. I'm not, I don't have children, but I'm sorry. I have a real hard time still with the fact that anybody could do this to any human being,
me
but
too.
let
Me
alone
too.
to their children. I have a hard time with that. Did she commit murder? Yes, Lindsay Clancy, yes, she did physically commit the murder. So we do have that. What bothers me about it is the fact that just days before, she was in a facility, self admitted, with her husband, asking them to please keep her and try to see what can be. Why are they releasing her so soon? That's my question.
Okay, so I've been watching the trial, and again, this is just hearsay. What he said that she told he like visited her like 3 times in a week span. She told him they're not doing anything for me. Like I've not even seen a doctor. But he found out that she was refusing treatment. She was refusing the group therapy. She was refusing everything.
See, I haven't seen where she refused anything. I do see, I don't know what I just did to my screen. I
Well,
didn't
we can
see
see
that
you better. You look beautiful.
it's not me. I wanted to put my last slide up, but something happened on that one, but whatever.
Stop
Um,
sharing it, probably.
but I have not actually. How do I get you guys back to where I can see? Whoops, I don't want to see God. I don't want to see me. That's the last thing I wanted.
Oh, you look fine.
There we go. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that she did. I don't think she should have ever made a decision of, I'm not going to take those three. That's too much. I'm just going to take this or that. That should not have been, I don't think, her decision. I think she was wrong with that. But I don't know. It's just, how do you make a determination, though, of what somebody is hearing in their head and not hearing? I mean, who
Right.
Oh,
on that witness stand can say for fact that she didn't hear this or she did? And some doctors are saying she did have mental psychosis. There's also several that are saying no, she did not. So I don't know if it was psychosis.
I'm extremely new to this case right here. This is really the first time I've got into it at all, to be honest with you.
It's
But
going on right now. It's on
like
court
some
TV.
people are saying in the chat, anybody can say they can use that defense, and that don't mean that it's not real. But at the same time, I'll just add one little thing that I've always kept in mind. Nobody in their right mind kills somebody,
No, I
tries to
agree
kill
with that.
themselves. So if you can use that as an excuse, and
Okay,
anybody would use it as an excuse. But
okay, I'm going to play
I
devil's
need to
advocate.
learn more about this to be able
Okay.
to have an educated opinion.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate then. This is a woman for over a year and 2 months kept a journal of what was going on with her. She kept everything in writing. So was this premeditated from a year and 2 months ago? Because most people don't keep a journal of all of this stuff that's happening to them
Right.
if it's not really happening. And her journal's extremely, to the point where it does get finally to the point where it says, I'm starting to have thoughts about hurting myself. And that's when her husband was aware of most of this. Once it got to that point of
Yeah.
harm, besides just the being tired and anxiety and just all these other things,
Having to go
that's
back
when
to work and be separated from her kids.
right.
Well, then there's a lot of negligence involved. Why didn't somebody step in and do something to protect the children?
But
Well,
she did tell her husband, or according to what he said on the stand, she told him that she was having thoughts of harming the children. But it's not his fault, though. It's not his fault.
Well, you
Right.
know what? If somebody told me, if my husband said, we don't have kids, but if he had said, I'm starting to have, I know he's got some issues, and he says, I'm starting to have, guess what? I'm going to start having you not be around the kids.
Right.
I
Absolutely.
would, and I will do everything in my power to get him the help he needs.
And
Or,
doctors and
or he
DFACs
is not going to be around the kids without supervision. That's it. I would not I don't care if it was who it was. If somebody in my life comes to me and says what she apparently told her husband and what's written in her journal, a friend, a neighbor, if somebody ever came to me and said, I don't know what's going on, ever since I had my last child, blah, 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 and I detect anything wrong with them, depending on who it is, I'm either going to, I hate to get child services involved because God knows where the kids end up, but I'm going to try to get that person help. And I would love to find a way that that person would not be able to have those children around them unattended.
Right.
And that's where I think the husband went wrong.
Right. And I feel like she was deceiving everybody, though. She was supposedly taking these medications, yet nothing was working, but she actually wasn't taking the medications. She was not accepting the help that she was given. And that's what breaks my heart, that it led to this.
I do, and I agree with that. I also know several people that have been put on medications for just depression, not anything like this at all, that they don't want to have to, they get to a point, they don't want to take it anymore. One, they just don't think it's right to take the medication. They feel, and mental illness still has a stigma to it. It's had it for 100 years.
Absolutely.
75 years ago, you would never say that you had anxiety or panic attack. People would go, what are you, frigging crazy? It's like, yeah, I might be frigging crazy. That's the whole point. But we also accept, and this is something else that kind of makes me think about things, with children that have mental issues, we don't ever question it with children, but we do question it a lot more with adults. And there's children that have mental issues and they're not necessarily born with it. They have mental issues. Some children that are even autistic, they can go from one extreme to another as they get older. And I have seen this firsthand. My best friend, her sister's daughter, actually, she is the girl who I helped her find her biological father. She had 4 children. One of her children, her son, was autistic, severely autistic. And he did a lot of the typical traits of a child with being not autistic. He'd sit in the corner, he'd bang his head, and he'd do just different things and spin his hands around. When he was 13, something changed, and he started getting into like getting scissors and cutting things up, and he was destroying things. He was slashing the sofa, and his mother, she was married. It was a wonderful family. It was a great family. And she was starting to get a little bit concerned. And she swore from the as soon as they found out he was autistic and severely autistic, she would never put him in a home. No, no way. Well, she went to bed one night and she woke up and he's standing over her bed and he's got a butcher knife in his hand. So she's not going to put her child anywhere. So everything in their home that could be dangerous, she put locks on it.
What?
Everything. And
I
her
would
adult kids, other kids that were still living at home, they had to get the key that was hidden away to get into the drawer, to get into the knives, to get it, plates, you name it, because he would destroy or break things. Well,
Oh no.
she ended up one night, her husband came home, he worked night shift, and she stayed up and fell asleep on the couch. And she had forgotten to lock one of the drawers, and it had knives in it. And she woke up, and he was sitting in the corner with the knife, stabbing it into the wall. And then she panicked, and she was half asleep. She thought he was asleep. He would get up in the middle of the night and do these things. And when she walked towards him, he tried to stab her. I mean, like he wanted to get her. The husband came home in time because he was much bigger than her mother. Her mother was only 4'11". She was a tiny little thing. He restrained him and they sat down and he told his wife right then, we have other children.
Right.
We cannot live like this any longer. Do
Correct.
we love our child? Yes, we love our child with all our hearts, but he needs to be in a supervised, controlled environment. And they put him into a home. And he is, to this day, he is probably 36 years old. And he's doing 100% better. He's got certain things he's extremely intelligent with. He's almost more like Asperger's now than he was as far as specifically having down, what do you call it? My mind just went, hoo-hoo. But he's doing better, bottom line. But we don't question that because it's a child. But if it was an adult, we would be questioning it. And so that's what's also different with the mental illness, of how we handle it differently with kids than we do with adults. We believe children. We don't always believe adults. But adults do, Missy, you have a great point. An adult, if you truly want help, and you go to 15 different doctors until you can get the right doctor, you should accept the help that's given you and you try it. If it doesn't work, then you try something else. I don't like this jumping from doctor to doctor thing, though, either. I don't think that helps her situation. But it is a tough case. It's real tough.
I
So,
agree. Yeah.
sorry I'm new to this, but can I just back up for just a minute, just to be clear? So she had.
Wayne, you can do whatever you want to do. Well,
Oh,
this is
thank
this
you,
is
Miss.
Jenna's
I appreciate
channel,
that.
so I guess that's up to her.
No,
Well,
actually, Missy, you have the floor, sweetheart. You go with it.
No.
so she unalived 3 kids, right? And it was what, 2 boys and a girl, or
It was, God,
and
Colin.
what were their ages?
They were, Kaylin was under a year, and the other 2, they were young. I mean, they were all young. I would say 5, 3, and under a year.
5, 3, and under a year. And then she
I think it's 8
cut
months.
her own wrist and tried to jump out the second.
She did a slash across her throat, but it didn't sever anything. She did slice both wrists several times. She jumped out of a
Not enough to bleed out.
No.
Yeah,
She was almost unconscious though when the paramedics came.
And then she jumped out the second-story window and paralyzed herself.
And she's paralyzed now from like right below the breast line down.
Oh my gosh!
I watched the actual police officer on stand. I actually watched it today. The one that he was actually working overtime from 7 to 11, and he
Right.
described what he saw and what happened when he got on scene.
Mhm.
And he said he walked up. Nobody was answering the door, so he went to the right side of the house, and there's a little porch.
Mhm.
And he said he saw, it was the husband, I believe, and then she was laying on ground. And he asked her, he said, "Are you hurt? What can I do to help you?" And she was mumbling. And then he did say that she had like a cut on her wrist and a cut on her neck. He said, "But we're trained to know, like they have tourniquets. It wasn't like profusely bleeding."
No.
Right.
And then, the fire department showed up, so he let them do what they do best. And he heard somebody just screaming.
That was her husband.
And yeah, and so they followed where that was coming from, went to the basement. They said once they got to the basement, there's a right and a left. So he went to the right because he was following where the yelling was coming from. And once he got in the doorway, he saw the husband. And once the husband saw them, he came running towards them saying, "She killed the children."
Right.
And he goes into detail. I won't do this on live here,
No,
but
he goes into a lot of
mhm,
detail. And
yeah,
and to think that, I mean, please don't take this the wrong way. She was a nurse. She was bringing children into this world. That was her passion. My mind can't go there. That's the part that I have a hard time with, is not only that she committed the crime that she committed to her own children, but also the fact that you supposedly get joy from bringing children into this world. You're a nurse. And I would think a nurse would know better about medications and how to
yeah,
follow some doctor's orders, so to speak.
you would think.
Is she paralyzed for life now? Like
Oh,
she'll
yeah.
never.
She will never. No, she was in the hospital for
She's already
almost a
got
full year.
some
And
form
see,
of.
that's another thing you taught me too. Yeah, like I noticed she was in a wheelchair
Mhm.
in the in some of the court cases I've been watching. And I was like, why is she in a wheelchair? I didn't know that. I did not
Right.
know that.
They did extensive she's had several surgeries. They're actually surprised that she can move her limbs because it's from spinal cord injuries all the way down. No, she will never walk again. And when they found her, I'm not sure. It was snow. It had snowed, not that right then, but she had. There was snow on the ground, and she
Yeah,
was
I
laying
saw.
in the snow when they came to get her.
Wow.
And none of her, like I said, none of her injuries would have been life threatening. The worst thing that happened to her was, yes, she's paralyzed for life. And
So
I
now,
saw her in the courtroom, the other day, and if she did suffer from something and she's better now, or regardless of what it was, she was not faking when she was crying the other day. She was trembling. Her body was just quivering. And I just, like I said, I don't know. It's just very difficult. I think if I had a list on a blackboard, there'd be all these things that are wrong, and maybe just these few little things that I could rationalize. And so would I be a good juror? No, I wouldn't. But I'm really curious though. I mean, like I said, I think a
or
lot of
what to
it,
do with her now, right? I mean, what do you do with her now? She's
well, yeah,
never going to walk again, so she's already got that form of punishment. Now, does she go into a correctional facility? And who knows? I mean, the way the mental health care is, maybe she'll get better treatment there. But I don't think that she should ever be a part of society again in
I
any.
don't either. That's one thing I stand firm on. If they decide that
Hmm.
her mental situation led to the demise of her children, and they can somehow prove that, then I think she should be in some kind of a mental facility that can possibly help her. And then if she can get better and be an asset to help other people there, because she was a nurse, she's not going to be delivering babies, but maybe she could be helpful. That's great. But that's where she needs to spend the rest of her life. I do not think that woman, I don't care if she knew what she was doing. I don't care if she was possessed. I don't care what it was. She should never have the freedom. Well, she won't walk, so that's a bad choice of words. I was going to say the word see,
Sorry,
but she should not. No, I agree. It was a
too
terrible
soon. Too
choice of
soon.
words. Yeah, that was.
I agree too. Yeah,
There's
I agree. And
She should never be back in public.
who's to say she's going to take her medication
Well,
once
if
she
she's in
gets
a
out of the
control
mental
room,
facility?
All right.
She probably wouldn't. So that's, and to me, she still, regardless, and she's not disputing it, she did kill her children. That is the bottom line.
Yeah,
In
she
the worst way.
free.
Oh,
She can never be
she
free.
literally.
But she
Oh,
should have already been in a mental hospital if that was
Well,
the
that's where
case.
she's been. Well,
When
she
she
should have been
worked
there
in the
before.
system, I've seen people work the system and say that they're sick and they've got this and that and the other going on, and they're running around. They're getting Xanaxes or they're getting opioids, Roxycontins and stuff like
They had her on
that.
opioids.
Other
They
than they
had her,
want to get high.
what I didn't understand was the medication, and that's the list that I can't pull up now because I don't know what I did, but I had the list of the 13 medications.
yeah,
And
they
it's just
have
like,
her on so many
it's like,
antidepressants.
why
They had her on
Xanax, Klonopin, Prozac, and then it
Uspar.
went to, exactly,
Look at,
Wellbutrin.
hmm
But not me, though, is they
so
had her on
lost.
pain medication too. She wasn't in pain. She didn't
See,
need
I
to be
didn't
on.
know they had her on pain
She was on
medication.
Oxycontin. They had her on Oxycontin.
And some people know how to work that system to get exactly what
Oh,
they
wow.
I don't honestly. I don't think she wanted to be on those on that kind of medication. She wasn't complaining of any pain. It was
want.
all
They're
stuff in
saying
her head.
that she was taking some that she was prescribed, but wasn't taking others that she was prescribed. That's what I'm seeing in the chat here.
Well,
What I'm, go ahead.
now I'm just what I understand is if she went to Dr. A 3 weeks ago and she didn't and she tried what Dr. A gave her and stopped the other three medications and then switched to Dr. B and he maybe gave her three, she would maybe take two of them because she didn't think she needed all three of them. And
Exactly.
from the bottles in her medicine cabinet at the time, and when this happened, she had 4 medications in her system, all legal medications, all prescribed, but 4 of them. One, I think 4 is too many to begin with because the interaction of them, and one was, and Misty, you'll probably know this interaction. She was on Prozac, Xanax, and Klonopin. I don't know what the 4th one was. I can't remember. Why do you need to be on Xanax and Klonopin at the same time?
hmm
That's to
hmm
me, you're over medicating that person highly. So that's a doctor giving her that. Now,
But
granted, they did say though that the prescription bottles that they checked, none of them ever showed that she used the full bottle or took from the time she got them to the time of the incident, the pill count was not adding up. So she,
right.
exactly what Misty said, she was not taking them as directed. So because of her being a nurse, maybe she thought she could figure out a way. Okay, I'm getting this here. I'm getting this over here. I think this will work with this. Well, that wasn't her decision to make. And I'm not saying the psychiatrist gave her the best remedy either, but she should have been taking what the doctor said. And if they gave her 15 medications and said, now we only want you, and she, like I said, she never had to take that many at once. 4, I think, is the maximum she ever took at one time. But it's not, it's up to her because it's her body. But if you think doctor gives you 4 medications, I don't need all 4. I'm only going to take 2. Well, guess what? Maybe you needed all 4 of them. I'm not saying the combination she was on was correct, but she, I don't think, was qualified to make that determination.
Yeah. It's
The
so upsetting
question,
because she claimed she got help, or she asked for help. She got medication. I think in the court, the one that I saw, she took like 7 pills out of the bottle within like months. So she accepted the help, but she didn't do or take the medication that could have made her feel better. I mean, some people I'm not downing medication. A lot of
no,
I take medication for depression. I take it. I take medication for sleep. But
I
she
do for
didn't
sleep.
take it, and then I guess her husband is like, "Ugh, well, it's not helping. It's not helping." So she goes to another doctor and gets these other prescriptions. It's so the whole situation is so sad. It's so
The
ugh,
bottom
and
line
now
to
her
me is
children.
we have 3 beautiful children that are no longer here.
Yeah.
There is a
Yeah.
man that is grieving the
Mm,
loss of his 3 children. Now, he just got married. He got married the week before the trial started, he remarried. His honeymoon is being on the trial. He claims she was a wonderful mother. Her father-in-law on the stand claimed she was a wonderful mother. But you know what? She killed her kids. I mean, regardless of what she did in the past, I can't say that that can excuse her from what she did. But I don't understand enough about the severity of some mental illnesses. And I'm seeing in the chat, I see the controversy. I mean, somebody made a point. If
I
you,
have some.
nobody should, a lot of people are saying you shouldn't have children if you're, if you think, I don't think anybody has children with a mindset of, I'm having kids so I can kill them. I don't think that was the plan with this.
Well, I'm not in the medical field, and I know you guys believe in medicine and stuff like that, but I've seen it out here with my own two eyes. I actually had somebody pass right beside me that had an addiction to taking pills that was over prescribed medication with the Xanax and the Klonopin
Right.
and the Roxycontin.
I can agree with you right there.
can
I
attest to
can,
that
She
too.
was
I
over
won't go into
medicated.
that story, but I can, yeah.
No,
She was
I
over
agree.
medicated, and maybe she should be trying some natural remedies and seeking some kind of different help than just trying to get another pill in there and see if that was going to solve the chemical.
But you're not over medicated if you don't take the medication and then go to somebody else and get these other 3 prescriptions.
Right, and we don't know
You
what she
have to.
did that day. Maybe she decided to take everything that day, and that got in there and that mixed. And
She
she's
only
already
had,
this
she
mental
had
thing
her
going on.
4 medications that were in her system were her last 4 that were prescribed.
Right.
She had not interacted with different medications at the time this happened. But
So
those 4 medications were a bad mix. And I
Right.
mean, Misty, I'm not a doctor, and you've got much more knowledge than I do with this. But to me, Prozac, Xanax, and Klonopin, and like I said, I can't remember the 4th one. That's a bad combination right there.
She's lucky
And her-
she didn't
You
OD.
don't prescribe all those things together at once.
Exactly.
No, do not.
Yeah. Now, my ex-husband had severe PTSD, and we'd been divorced for 15 years, and that's when I was in Georgia. And we'd been divorced, and I was single. I hadn't married my husband I'm with now, but I stayed in contact with him. He was a good person, but we just did not do well together because he drank too much. Well, he quit drinking. And when he quit drinking, the PTSD kicked in. He didn't have that before. He suppressed it with the alcohol. When he stopped drinking, he was losing it. And I beg your pardon, I was in California when I would talk to him for quite a while. And I'd call George to see how he was doing because he had lost his mom recently and his brother. And they all lived together. So he was now in the house that we had lived in alone. And every time I'd call, he just sounded worse. And it's like, what's going on with you, Max? Nothing. I don't feel good. You never feel good, but you sound tired. You sound lethargic. You say you're not sleeping. And somehow along the line, this is over a 6 or 7 month period, I asked him, I said, are you eating? Because he didn't cook at all, nothing. And he said, no, a little bit. I don't eat much. And I asked him, and I don't know why, but I asked him how much he weighed. My husband was 6'1". He was built like a football player when I met him. He was athletic and he was in damn good shape. And he told me he weighed 137 pounds. And I lost it.
Oh, wow.
I thought, what? I said, wait a minute, did I hear you right? And he goes, yeah, I've lost some weight. I went, no, you're a, you know what, skeleton. I said, you had a girlfriend for a while. Okay, you guys are supposedly on good terms. She lives 3 blocks away. Can she not maybe bring you some food or go? I said, are you buying groceries? I can't leave the house. And when did you can't? When did all this happen? And he finally just let it all out. That for about that 6 months, that I was really in contact with him on a regular basis because I needed to be. I knew he needed somebody to talk to. I knew it. I just felt it. I knew him. And he said, ever since my brother Terry died, I don't drive. I go to my VA appointments because they pick me up. And that's about it. And I said, but do you still smoke? And he went, yeah. Well, how do you get your friggin' cigarettes? You can buy fucking cigarettes and you can't get food? I
Right.
said, even if it's food that you open a can, I mean, what the hell? He goes, I buy my groceries at 7-Eleven when I get my cigarettes.
Um,
It's like, what the? I said, okay, what are you eating? And he held up a little box because he had just eaten of the microwavable Dinty Moore stew in a little tiny box that you put in a microwave, not even the canned stuff. And I said, how many calories and what nutrition's in that? He goes, you know, I never read that crap. I know you don't. Just tell me, I'm curious. It was like 250. I said, what else did you have today? Well, I've had about 8 cups of coffee and I had toast this morning. And that was basically what he lived on. I was in a situation at that time in California where I needed to get away. I had went through a very nasty, I wasn't married, but a breakup that just about, it broke me. It broke me bad. And I love that man dearly. And he did something that just, it devastated me. And I was at a point where I also, my company I worked for, the assisted living facility, they shut the doors down. The new ownership came in. And I was told I was bought with the new ownership. They were going to keep me on. But they didn't. They gave me a nice little month severance paycheck and said, bye. So I was in a position of not sure where my rent was going to come from the next month and a lot of uncertainty. And I loved the South, loved it. I knew a lot of people there. I was happy there. I used to go to the rivers and the lake and have a good time. So I told him, I said, I just called one day and I said, I'm in a bad place. Wasn't it as bad as I made it sound, but I wanted him to think that way because he didn't want anybody to come to the house. That was the other thing. When I had asked about the other girlfriend that he had, that he didn't have any longer. And I said, why can't she at least bring you some groceries? Because I don't want her to come in the house. It's a mess. It's like, yeah, I'm sure it is I said, but you were a neat freak. And he said, no, ever since my brother died, I've let it go. Well, he let everything go after that. And I just told him, I called and I said, guess what? I'm coming back to Georgia and I don't have anywhere to stay. So can I stay with you for a while? It was a 3-bedroom home. It was a home that we lived in. We bought and had his brother and his mom come live with us. He had sold it, but the people who he sold it to let him stay as a renter. And he said, I don't want you coming here. You can't see this house. I went, I lived in it. I can see it. And he went, you cannot see me. And I said, I really don't give. I didn't care. I just said, this is when I'm going to be there. I'm going to stop in Alabama and I'm going to visit some friends. I'm going to hang out at Lake Martin and then I'm going to come see you. So I'll be there within a week or 10 days. Well, I was there for 4 days and I called and said, what are you doing? And he sounded terrible. So I said, okay. I said, well, maybe this weekend I'll come over. And he said, no, he was going to be busy. I said, what are you busy with? You don't do anything. You already told me that. And he went, why do you always have to pick everything apart? And he would always tell me, you're just a friggin' detective. Because I used to be able to catch him in so many little things that he was a good man, but his lies were terrible. But I said, well, you go do what you have to do Saturday morning, and I'll call you Saturday afternoon to make sure you're home okay. And I knew he wasn't going anywhere. He didn't drive. There was 4 cars in that driveway. I went there. I had my car because I had my car shipped over. So my car had arrived and I drove from where I was in Alabama to his house. And I knocked on the side door because in the South, you don't go to the front door. You go to the side door. Side door. And there's 4 cars, his mom's, his brother's, his, and I don't know who the other car ever belonged to. And they all look like crap. It's like, what the hell? The yard looked like crap. Everybody else's in the whole neighborhood was beautiful. It's like I started to cry because the neighborhood I loved was gone. And I knocked at the door and I knew he was in there. I could hear noise. And I heard the TV. He wasn't answering the door. So I called from my cell phone and I said, you answer the door now, or I kick it in, or I break a window, and you're going to have to pay for it. And he's like, you're not going to break a window. And I went, okay, not everything has changed in this hellhole now. The backyard's still full of a bunch of bricks. And I'm walking in the backyard right now. and I'm picking up a brick, and I am going to break it through the window, and I will pick up 10 more if it takes to get a spot big enough for my skinny ass to climb into. And he opened the door, and tears just rolled down my face. I was looking at a man that was 5 years younger than me, and he looked like he was 150 years old. And he hugged me, and it's like bones. I thought I was going to break him. But he said, well, come back he goes, I don't hang out in the living room. I don't hang out in the den. I don't hang out anywhere except my room. I said, fine. Well, his room was our room at one time. I walked back there, and it was pitch black. Everything he had up on the walls, the drapery, everything was dark, no light. And seriously, for a man who's going to the VA every month, was being treated supposedly well for PTSD, had 17 frigging bottles of medication on the counter. And I asked him, which ones of these do you take? And he said, I take 4 of these, I take 3 of these, and 4 of these. He took them all every single day. And I said, Monday. This was Saturday. I said, we go to the VA. He goes, I don't have an appointment. I said, I don't care. And he goes, well, you can't just storm in there. I go, no, I'm storming in there. And if they want to storm me out in handcuffs, so be it. But we're going to find out why the F you are taking all this shit. This is what's killing you. This is why you weigh practically 125 pounds at that point. You're being eaten up alive. He was just nothing. Nothing was left of him. And I did get to talk to somebody, and we had an appointment 2 days later. What they were doing was when he would go to his psychiatrist, things weren't working or she didn't see a change, she's discharging him, DCing a certain medication, 5 of them. We're going to try you on these instead. But through the VA, you do everything on the computer. You order your medication. He didn't get up here anymore what it meant when she said, we're going to discharge these 3 and give you these. They kept him in the frigging system. So when he would go to hit his refills, guess what? He's getting all of them. Mm-hmm. And he didn't know any better not to take them because he was so screwed up in the head. So that's where our system fails. And that man died 3 months later.
Oh,
and he died while I was taking care of him. And I was in the other room. I would only stay in one room because I couldn't handle that place. It was disgusting. And I am a neat freak, picky as can be. But he had a bell, which was silly. But he called me on the cell phone and said, can you come in here? And he was on the floor. Now, he didn't have any problems walking. He was weak, but he walked. And I said, what happened? Did you fall? And he went, no. He said, I'm sick. And I couldn't make it to the bathroom. Well, he couldn't. And I touched his head. He felt a little bit warm. I said, I can't get you up. And you've got a temperature. And you say you're having symptoms of flu. And I called 911. Because of all of the medication that was risking so much, he was admitted to the hospital for flu. They did a lab work. They kept him overnight. I came in the next morning at 7 a.m. and they said, we ran some tests, so we're going to run some more because of what we've seen. But he's, one, highly over-medicated. He has medication in his body that is eating him up. The toxins are killing him. Well, I also found out the next day he had cancer. Oh. And he died the next day. And he died because, in my opinion, he was the type of man that if you ever said the word cancer, because that's how everybody in his family died. I have a long streak in my family, and they're all dead from cancer. Cancer scared him to death. And I told the doctor, when I come in tomorrow, we're going to sit down with him because I need to find out, because he was bad. He said he's not going to make it probably 3 months. And I said, I don't think he's going to make it 3 days. I just felt that. I said, I need to get with him. And I sat down with him and I said, or before I sat down with him, I said, you do not let him know. I do not want a doctor or a nurse to tell him this unless I'm in the room. There was nobody else there but me. I said, do not tell this man he has cancer without me being present. I got there the next morning early at shift change, walked in, and there's, God, 15 people in that room, nurses, doctors. He is combative. He's screaming. He's had thrown things. He said he was hot at one time, so they had brought in a fan for him. He threw that through practically against the window and broke the blinds in the hospital. And I walked up to him. I just took his hand and I just kind of grabbed him. And I was like, Max, stop. What is wrong? And he goes, get them out of here now. And I told everybody, I said, get out. And I said, he took Klonopin. And that was the one thing that would calm him down. I said, has he had any Klonopin yet today? And they said, no. I said, get him a friggin' Klonopin now. Well, it's not ready. I don't give a crap. Get it. He's losing it. So they went and got it for him. And he calmed down a little bit. And I said, what's going on? I closed the door. Nobody was in the room with us. And he said, I have cancer, which I already knew. And he said, they told me I've got maybe 3 months. And I talked to him and I said, well, then I guess I need to help you with some arrangements because there's nobody else that can do it. And he said, which kills me to this day that he said this, but he went, you just after my damn fucking money. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. That was not appropriate.
That's your show.
No, that's what he said. What he said. That's how he felt.
I looked at him. I went, one, last I knew, you didn't have any damn friggin' money. And two, you've got a stepson out there that you haven't been in contact for 20 years. You can give it all to him for all I could care less what you have. But you do have a funeral arrangements that were made years ago. And it's a terrible subject. None of us like to talk about it, but I need to know what you would like. And he said, well, find out more about the information from the funeral home and we'll talk about it tomorrow. I said, no, we're talking about it today. And he started to get belligerent and they came in and gave him shots and more drugs and doped him up. And when he was a little bit better, I stayed until 10 o'clock at night. And at 10 o'clock at night, he was a little bit more alert. He said, when you come in tomorrow, tell me what you find out. Bring one of my checkbooks, and if I need to write a check for something, I'll do it. And I said, everything should be paid for, but I'll do it. And he took my hand and he said, I'm sorry that you had to see me like this. But if it wasn't for all the drugs, I wonder if I'd be dead from the cancer already, or if all these drugs just made it worse having the cancer. And he said, I took the drugs because I didn't want to start drinking again. And I was teary-eyed, of course. And I said, what you did in the past, what you're doing now, I said, let's just make the next 3 months or 3 years, whatever it is, the best it can be. And I took his hand and I squeezed it. And I said, I love you and I'm here for you. And he looked at me and he said, I couldn't have ever asked for a better wife. And when he said that, I knew I would never see him alive again. And he passed. I pulled into my driveway. I lived 5 miles from the hospital. And I pulled into the driveway. And my cell phone went off. And I pull it up and it says, St. Jude Hospital. And I went, okie-doke. And the nurse I had met before, and her name is Angel. And she said, Janice, this is Angel. And I said, do I need to turn around? And she said, yes. I said, is it too late to see him? And she said, the doctor's in there now. I don't know if you'll get here on time. She said, don't go through she told me different doors to go through because of security and what have you.
Right.
And I went in and I walked up to the desk and she said, they just declared him dead. And I said, you know what, we said our goodbyes. And I was okay with it because of how we left. But they ended up doing some investigation. I put in for them to do some investigating through the VA. The cancer wasn't detected because of all of the medications he was on. And when you just tell somebody you don't take these anymore, take these medications, you need to take it out of the system. You just don't tell a person because, like I said, he didn't know better because he was so, I'd say,
Absolutely.
wasted. He was gone.
I mean, you're
So
the
he,
professional, and you got somebody that's under medication also that may not clearly understand exactly the directions
he
that you're
didn't.
giving them. For God's sakes,
He had absolutely no idea that when they said, we're going to discharge this or DC this, that
right?
meant don't take it anymore. And then,
Better yet, they
or
should
if they
have them
don't get
bring
it,
the medication in with them, and when they do that, go ahead and take the medication right then and there, and put it in the system that they cannot get another.
that's the problem. And that's, I then filed the complaint with the VA that one, I always think they over medicated them to begin with, but two, you just don't tell somebody don't take it. You take it out of the system so they can't get it anymore. And they
Right,
never did that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure Misty, she left us. I'm sure she's squalling like a baby right about now. Bless her heart. That
But
touched my heart too. I was going to tell her
it's
that she's crying. I'm not crying. I'm
so
sorry you had to go through that.
no, it's everything I've went through has made me stronger and it's made me who I am today. And that's how I try to look at it. And
Absolutely.
it breaks my heart because again, and the reason this even got brought up is because we have a break in the system. It's not healthy. We're not treating patients that legitimately need help the way we should be. In this particular case, I don't know what the situation is. I don't know enough about it. I think she does need to be locked up for life, whatever it is that she ends up being.
Oh,
But
absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know. But I honestly can't say in my heart of hearts that I think jail is the ideal answer. And I see in the chat several people are saying she needs to get 3 life sentences in jail.
Right.
Well,
Right. And there's
and
some
that's their opinion. That is fine for people to have that opinion.
she's
I'm
back.
not. I'm not 100% convinced that that's not the right what should happen. But as it stands today, I see it as of right now, she should be somewhere because she's committed the crime and she needs to be put away for the rest of her life.
Oh yeah,
Period.
absolutely. Yeah.
Don't know
Don't
what
know where it's at. You okay, Misty?
Misty.
Can't hear you.
Hello, Misty. We can't hear you.
We see your picture, but we don't hear you no more.
Out and back in. Come back in.
Hey,
Come
I know
back.
somebody who does that.
I do too. Come back.
Yeah.
Misty. But
Come out and come back in. Come out, come back in.
now, can I click her out and have her come back in?
Yeah, you can boot her.
But
So
I
it
don't
said
want her to think. I don't want her to think I'm booting her.
remove from stage.
Okay,
I was
I'm
going to tell
removing
you
her.
too. This is
And
your
now
first.
I'm adding her.
Yeah, try that.
Missy, let's see. Your microphone cannot hear you. I'm going to call you. Hello.
Right. She does pretty good. I was going to tell you for a future, it don't matter this time. This is your first stream, so we're just trying to get you going. But down there at your settings, if you'll click that little gear down there, and you
Yeah,
have to allow other people to share your stream. Whoa, I see 2 Misties now.
I know.
But
Hey,
yeah,
can you hear me? Oh,
I can hear you. Yes. Yep. I had you up there twice then.
so that'll help you, Janice. When you want to dual stream with somebody, you just click that little settings gear down there in the bottom, and then it says allow others to stream to their audience, and then they'll be able to stream also.
I saw that and I wasn't sure because I shouldn't be using any streamers' names, so I won't. But I asked a streamer recently who's not new to this, who
Mhm.
wanted to share a song that was written for me. They
Okay.
wanted me to share the song, and I said, sure, but since I'm new and I could really use the hours since I got them taken away from wonderful YouTube land,
Oh, boy.
I said, I share the stream? Well, I don't have any idea how to do that. I've never done that before. And it's like, bull crap. I know who you pull up on your stage and they're not coming up there just for the hell of it. They want the hours. And
Right.
I was not, and this is a very popular streamer and I cared very much about him, But that ticked me off. And the next time I went on, guess what? That little button showed up in the corner saying, if you want to share your stream. And I was like, and he made it a point when I came up on and said, I found out how to do that since you told me about it. So-and-so had to tell me how to do it. And I went, you've been streaming for over 3 years. Don't give me that crap. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday.
I was just going to say, it's a big thunderstorm over here, and my power flickered a couple times, so that's why it dropped me out.
Okay.
I lost you guys.
A good old Alabama.
About this story. That's what I thought. I said, oh boy, she's boohooing.
Gotta love Alabama. Gotta love Alabama.
Yes, you gotta love Alabama. All
right.
You don't have to love Alabama. You can come to Georgia.
I love Alabama.
Well, it's just as bad.
Anyway,
yeah, it's just as bad. I just like to pick at you guys. It's fun.
And one thing I do want to make clear is that we can discuss 10 different things. And if we end up, and I just went off topic completely with my ex-husband, I wasn't expecting it. I don't care if we ever go off topic. We can just, true crime is sad. It's depressing. It gets old. And if somebody wants to come up here, and that's kind of in my new little video I did, which was kind of fun because I did want you guys to hear this new one, even though I'm sick of it. But it even says, if somebody wants to talk about Elon Musk just launched a new missile, or I made baked ham last night and it's better than I've ever, then share it. I don't care what we talk about. I think it's great for people to have platforms to go to where, yes, we can discuss things of these cases because we all obviously like true crime or we wouldn't be here. But I want the flexibility always in this chat to be warm, inviting, and that you want to come back because you just want to hang out. And who cares what we talk about? And if somebody said after Lynette Hooker's case, if something had come up in that different conversation, I wouldn't have cared less about the rest of them. We can do them another day. Nothing is etched in stone when it comes to PI 56. We go with the flow and it's open. If somebody has something they want to share and you just want to vent or you want to brag or you want to talk about your grandkids, you hit that link that I put in there and you're more than welcome on my platform to sit right there with everybody else or with me. I do not want my channel ever to be just about one thing. And it actually isn't. My channel is Vinyl Verdict and I'm PI 56 because I love classic rock. The only problem with that is I can discuss it. I do narratives on the bands, the songs, and I drop a link for you to listen to it because I can't post it anymore. Because God forbid you get caught posting music anymore. YouTube will strike your ass from here to and back. So you have to be very, very, everything. I even, in one of my videos, I had 2 albums and one of them said Fleetwood Mac on the top. It wasn't even a true Fleetwood Mac album, but it said Fleetwood Mac and I designed it. I didn't get a strike, but I got a claim. And the claim was to remove it because trademark. It's like, okay, now it's copyright, trademark. And even with my own sister's flipping cold case that, yes, hallelujah, thank you, God, is officially open 100%. Okay. It's not a cold case. I have 2 detectives working on it. If I want to clip the articles of my sister's death and post them, I'm infringing on copyright benefits, but they're making money off of it. It's ridiculous. Right. It's absolutely it's crazy.
Play their music anymore. They're so strict about it and everything,
And when they, even with the Fair Use Act, and I don't know how some of these channels get away with it. I don't get it. Now, if you're big, I understand they don't have you under the magnifying glass as much. When you're small like I am, and I'm not monetized yet,
right.
And I was up to over 3,000 viewing hours. I was this close.
Right.
And I got, boom, they nailed me. If you air 1 second, even of a media news clip, and we see it all day long on these channels of Nancy Guthrie right now, everybody's showing what, Nanos just did an interview and people are sitting back streaming in their chair, dun, 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 dun. No commentary. no clipping and stopping, listening, just going to play it.
Right.
We have a live news stream of something, of a shooting. They play it. Nothing happens. That's because they're bigger channels and YouTube's making money. And if you ask YouTube, they tell you that's because they've gotten a license to do that. Yeah, right. Like the streamers that you and I know and watch, maybe one that I can think of would spend that kind of money to get a license to legally stream something. Maybe. But I can guarantee you that other streamers I love dearly, and I'll use 857 for an example because he's big. Alex has got a good channel going. Right. They're not paying $5,000 and $10,000 for a TV clip. No way. But
I got a strike when I was on Alex for the Savannah Hoda interview, but all I did was dispute it, and then it was dismissed in like 7 days because they didn't respond back to it.
Mine did not get dismissed because I played 2 seconds, two full seconds with 30-minute narrative about the band and 10-minute narrative about the song, and played 2 seconds of a clip. And then I was going to do more, but I ended up just doing narrative. It was a human strike. It wasn't the computer. And what had happened was it was Bob Seger actually. And whoever had the copyright to that particular song, it had just been sold to another company. So they changed, they had new rules. They send the new rules to YouTube, and YouTube, but it was done manually through a company because I contacted them and spoke to an actual human being and begged them. I mean, I did. I said, I'm new. I did this the way I thought I was supposed to. None of it was in my mind wrong. I'm sorry. Can we do, I know just removing it, but I said, do you have to? And the thing with the hours wasn't as much because of that, but they told me, and this is something that I'm going to tell to all of you out there. If you get a strike and something is removed from your channel, but you have other things that are similar, do not remove them. You may have 50 other things that has accumulated 3,000 watch hours for you. You have 1 strike, not 3. You've got just the 1. Keep your other contact up because chances are they're not going to touch it. I was told by this person, if you're smart, you will delete anything that resembles what you did on this one because you're going to get nailed. So I ended up deleting all of my music that I had, anything that I thought would be on true crime that would be a copyright. And because of that, I lost almost 3,000 plus hours of viewing hours. I would have been monetized in 2 months. My channel went off like crazy in the beginning. Right. And that kicked me back. But it's there's little things that, like I said, but once you get monetized and you get past that hump, I don't think they look at you quite as much. I still have probably 45 days left. It's been the longest 90 days of my life. It's like, that's why I use Suno so much now, and I make my own music. Right. But I go to now, I do a narrative. I talk about the song. I talk about several of the band's songs, about the band, the people in the band, and I'll say, I've dropped the link to 2 or 3 of their songs. So in this video, you can listen to da, 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 and I post it also in my post, and I drop the links there. So, and I pin it back. So people are still getting, and a lot of people like to hear the narratives of these bands. They enjoy to find out, wow, I didn't know that about them, or I didn't know about this song. So I'm still going to keep that side alive, but I am trying to diversify away from just true crime because I want to start putting occasionally some positive stories out there. There's good stories that are on the news every blue moon. You usually have to find them online, but of somebody that had no problem jumping into the ocean to save a 3-year-old that he didn't even know, or there's good stories, and there's good things every day that happen in the world. And I want more of the good stuff shared, not just all the bad. And my last case I was going to do, which I did really good slides for it. better than even the other ones. I was so proud of myself. And yes, I'm patting myself on the back, and I shouldn't be, but it was Nancy Guthrie. But I don't know where anybody really what they want to talk about with this.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
So I
Sorry,
don't know if you want to see any of this, or if anybody, what's everybody's feelings on Nancy Guthrie case now? I mean, yes, we've gotten some new tidbits of information.
But if
But
I
I
get
don't
kicked out again, PI, you should be patting yourself on the back. You're awesome.
know. Oh, thank you, Misty, so much. It,
Sorry, it's
you know,
it's the thunderstorm here that
I know.
keeps knocking me out.
And I sincerely want everybody to know, regardless if we even go on with anything else, that I really, really appreciate all of you here. I was not looking forward to doing live streaming. That was one part of YouTube I thought I don't want to have to do. I don't want to be in front of a camera. And like I said, this old lady stuff, I don't like it. It's like, it's not me. But I'm a goofball. I am a real goofball. I like
You're
to have
fun.
fun.
You're
I
fun.
love to have fun. And I feel like I'm 40, if even that, at heart.
Right.
And I just
We're
can't
only
move
as old
around.
as we feel.
I can't move as good as I used to after my back surgeries, but I still challenge any of you to do some sit-ups and push-ups with me. I got it. But anyway, but I just really, there's a lot more people that they had said they were going to come in today, and they did. And I am so grateful for them.
For sure.
I'm looking at my list right now, and it's like, I want to cry. I can feel the tears welling up, and I feel it in my throat, because I just did not think the support would be there. And it is. It's
Well, we
been
got your back.
tremendous. It's been
Absolutely.
great.
We got
You
your
guys-
back in this community. This one down here at the bottom of the screen, I can promise you, she has your back. She's
Well,
everywhere. She's supporting everybody.
You're my girl. You're my girl.
She is. If I could give her a hug on the screen, I'd be hugging her, because I have
Air
loved this
hug.
girl.
Air hug.
Would be too, for sure.
I have adored her from even before I knew anything about Misty. There was, and it was actually even before I knew that you were a twin. It was just, I just knew Misty. And I used to see her on JLR, and
You too.
her comments would just, I'd be like, God, there's actually somebody in this room that's got a brain. It was like, and it was so refreshing. And some of the things she would say, I'd be like, yes, 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 you go, girl. Because nobody else had the damn balls to say this stuff. And she does. And that's why I say I love the South, because it's people like Misty. They're not afraid. And Wayne, I know you're in the South too, so but I'm not going to go there as far as the ball thing with you.
Wayne's just a gentleman.
That's another question.
The ball thing is all good fun.
But Misty, you shed a bright light on every room you go into. You are a shining star. You have brought you've brought joy to a lot of people, and not just because of what you've had to go through. It's how you've experienced things, what you've experienced, the life you lead now, and just your heart. You are all heart. Your last name should not be Haynes. It should be Misty Hart, because you are all heart, girl. And I love you dearly.
I love you so
mean
much.
so much.
I love all you guys.
Wayne, you have been supportive from the first time I ever saw you. You've had my back, and I appreciate that too very much. Dom C's been awesome. I mean, everybody looking at it on the screen, Finn Fan, God, Finn Fan's, he's just, I just want to give him a big hug, because he's always there for me. When we thought somebody was trying to maybe break into my house, or wanting to come in to take photographs, it was the weirdest. Yeah. It was such a bizarre thing. And Finn Fan was right there saying, you need to do this. You told me, Wayne, call the cops. And I did. And I don't know if you know or not, one of them got arrested. He's got burglary, breaking and entering, and a rap sheet this damn long.
Yeah, I did not know that.
And my husband is never out of town. But because of his treatments he's having, their machine broke here, and we're in a small town.
Wow.
And so he had to go.
I was worried about you that day.
Oh,
I was worried about you. Yeah.
And he had to go to Phoenix. And when he went to Phoenix, he was just going to go for the night. But we live on a circle, literally. There's 32 houses in this little section.
Dang.
Somebody had to have seen him leave and know I was
That
alone.
guy's connected to Nancy. Wouldn't that be crazy?
I'll tell you, you know what's funny? But that's just me and my personality. I mean, when they asked for a description, the one law enforcement officer said, damn, did you take a picture or something? I went, no, I got a picture of the tail end of the car and part of the license plate, but no, I can tell you down to the T what these people look like. And
Very good.
the guy won't talk, but I'm sure that the girl that was with them and the other guy, they probably are wanted for something or have a rap sheet too. They literally wanted to come in here and photograph our home on the outside and inside. So my first, and they said maybe the owner's selling it. Well, if the owner's selling it, who asked you to do it? Did it come from the owner? No, we got a call from someone. It's like, no. And when I went to close my screen, the one guy put his hand and kind of was like, boom, and
Oh,
and after my husband got back, the first thing my husband said to me is, I know how much you don't like boom boom yourself personally to use. I'm not against them, but he said, we're going out shooting again. He goes, you are going to, at least you can stay away from it all you want, but you are going to at least know how to defend yourself if you have to. If I had let them in, I have no idea what might have happened.
Wow.
I don't even want to think about what might have happened.
That's scary.
You'd be missing today.
I would probably either be missing or not here having this live. And damn it, I wanted to have this live.
No, that's right. My God, I hope they prosecute them and,
you killed it, girl. You killed it.
Well,
yes.
If anybody
awesome.
Does anybody want to talk about Nancy at all? Does anybody have any comments that you want to talk about Nancy and what's going on right now?
I say they're just trying to get enough evidence to make the arrest, and I would like to know where A&T are right about now. So would everybody else, but they're trying to get enough evidence to make an arrest. And the only reason they said they were clear is they was trying to keep.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Do you think
in the country?
Do you think that they have a suspect right now? Then
I do.
I do too. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I want to know where Annie and T are at. And the one thing that bugs the heck out of me from an investigative standpoint, I know when they came back later and they covered the front of the house with archways at, and that little rug was there and everything. I'm sure they did testing then. They could have taken the rug then and replaced it with another rug.
Yes.
But them not taking that damn rug immediately is like, are you kidding me? That to me is like crime 101.
Maureen O'Connell hinted around to some of the YouTubers while they were still out there. It'd be ashamed if somebody just happened to get that rug. Not really, she said, not really, but that's what she meant was like, please somebody get up there and get the damn rug so we can get it tested. If I
had been Brian Enton and walked up and saw that blood, I would have went immediately to somebody and said, there's blood right around that rug, and there may be some on that rug. Does somebody want to collect it? Because you're letting all of us come up on the porch now.
There was 3 that went up there. Ruiz from Fox News, and then one other local reporter. They all 3 went up there.
There was a female.
Brian actually, they said, knocked on the door. Trying to remember the lady's name. She did a lot on the 911 calls. What is her name?
Not Ashley. I know who you mean. She's a local with ABC Tucson.
No, this is the lady that actually she did a video about the 911 calls at the time, and Monks has talked about her, and she talks about Monks a little bit.
Oh, God, I can't think of what her name is.
She has a funny last name, Adim or something like that, but she put out a video and it's got to say something about Kalela asking about the Bitcoin before any Bitcoin information was actually public.
Yeah.
So
I wonder about him. Now JLR says that he's going to go talk to, he's in rehab, Kalela.
Right.
And JLR said if he still plans on going, which he was going to go to, he was going to go have an interview with him because he thought he'd be a really interesting person to interview.
Oh, he would be for sure.
I think he probably knows more than he's saying.
Yeah. And I mean, do you admit to being a part of a kidnapping and a unaliving, or do you just say, okay, yeah, I tried to swindle them out of some money and get probation and go to rehab and that kind of thing? I think you would take the latter, one of those two things, even if you were involved.
Mhm.
So he may not even be saying anything, and he may have come back with meth in his system on purpose. Like, I got a bad problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think law enforcement knows more than they say. I think they said the family was clear to keep them from lawyering up and from leaving the country so they didn't have to extradite them back in.
Right.
And I think they're just putting the pieces together. Now, it seems to always take more time to arrest a family member than it does a complete stranger.
It does. It does. And, excuse me, Melly in the chat, she's got a comment saying that she wouldn't be surprised if A&T actually sell their home and move.
Mm-hmm.
And that would not surprise me at all, because I don't think they were happy there anymore anyway. And
I don't think they're coming back. I think they're in Italy, and I don't think they're coming back unless they're forced.
I think they're all going to stay back.
And Italy's not going to extradite them unless the United States takes the death penalty off the table and life without prison off the table. So if they're there, I mean, that was a smart enough move for them to, get over there and stay there. And okay, if you find us guilty, we're not going to prison for life, and we're not going to get the death penalty.
Yep. So I agree. I'm looking at the chat, and then FinFan, the person I was thinking of is who he just said. One of the people that she was literally told, because I remember her reporting, that she could go up and take pictures of the front porch. Her first name was Brianna, and she's in Phoenix. Yes, she's in Phoenix. She's one of the sister news stations, but she's another one, right?
She's got her own stuff now.
Oh yeah, she's doing a lot of
stuff. She made it up there, but I learned, because I like boots on the ground. I got a couple of videos on my page where I'm starting to be boots on the ground type thing now. So I saw you going out there with that car. That was sad. That car accident. As soon as they take that crime scene tape down, or they leave the scene after questioning somebody, I've noticed them when they're with Carlos is the same thing. As soon as they release that scene, get in there, and that's when you make your move. Yeah. Don't just stand back with your camera. Just get in there real quick as soon as they release the scene, and there's no telling what you may film. Just like they filmed the blood, on the porch, and look how many times that's been viewed now. For God's sakes.
Let's see if Bruce will answer. Hey, Bruce Davis, and it's nice to see you in my chat. And I see he says that he thinks that they're still in Arizona, not Italy. So, Bruce, if you want to put it in comments, since you don't want to come up into the chat,
please come on, man.
You're welcome to come up on the screen. I would love to have you up, but I would really like to know, because everybody's got different opinions. But he's saying that he really thinks that they're still in Arizona, and he may have a reason why he thinks that, and I'd love to know what it is. But
he usually come right up on stage there too. Maybe you might have to drop him the link back one more time in there.
Put that link in there again, and
because he got in a little bit late, I think.
Let's see.
Yeah, he's definitely not.
He says he'll come up.
Yeah, he comes up.
He's gonna come. I have 3 people.
I'm not looking to the sky, y'all. I'm looking at my big screen TV. I'm trying to find something.
Nobody was asking, Wayne. Nobody was asking.
Well, I'm just saying, in case you wonder what I'm looking up at, I'm not rolling my eyes. That's what I think it looks like.
Oh, Misty,
you're far enough away from me talking smack, girlfriend.
Okay. Now,
I will come to Alabama right now.
No, that's not.
Come on.
That's Wayne. He said he was coming in, but no, he's not in yet.
Is he backstage? It might take him a minute to set
it. Give him a second. I have to go in and copy and paste the link, so it might take him a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then a lot of times I have to set my stuff up too. Make sure behind me is clean.
Hi. Bruce, yay!
There he is.
What's on, Bruce?
Hey, how you doing?
Bruce?
Hi, Misty. How you doing?
I'm good.
Hey,
how are
what's
you?
up, Wayne?
Hey, what's going on with you, man?
Nothing, man.
You still in the United States?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be going soon. Going back home.
Well, we might as well just fly back together, brother.
Well, no, look, I'm getting. Hi, Misty. Hello, Misty. I love Misty, and I don't want people to take it like she's my friend. That's it. Like she's a friend that everybody wants. You should have,
Misty.
and so is PI. So is PI 56. She's a wonderful lady here.
Thank you.
Misty is my girlfriend in my mind.
Misty can be your girlfriend in your mind. That's fine.
It's a secret.
Bruce has been.
I've been hiding under Misty under her covers at night. Did you see me?
No.
No.
When Adam's not around. When Adam's around, I have to take a back seat.
This is
really glad to
PI's
see
show
you.
now, guys. Come
Yeah,
on.
Yeah, this isn't we can't be talking dirty to Misty right now.
My bad.
No. But
Okay,
Bruce,
PI. So I found her name, by the way. I just want to go ahead and say that. But Juanita Adame is her name.
Oh yeah.
God, I haven't heard. I remember it now that you said it, but I wouldn't have ever thought
Go
of
check her out, and she's got some really interesting videos. And she's the one that came out with Kalela. Probably didn't even know anything about Bitcoin being asked for in the ransom notes at the time he texted TNA
Really?
and called one of them. Yep.
Wow.
Bruce to lose.
So, Bruce, I'm really curious as to your comment, because for up until recently, I thought A&T were probably still here. Over the last 3 weeks to a month, I haven't wavered much with this case. I've been pretty steady with it as far as my thoughts. But what makes you think they're still in Arizona?
I mean, I just have like this feeling that they're still here, because me personally, I've never blamed them. But I don't know a whole lot about them either. I'll be honest with you. And you know, Wayne knows that I don't know like a whole lot of it. I just believe that they're here, but I don't think that they're like, maybe they're not in Tucson. They could be like,
They could be anywhere. Yeah.
They could be in the mountains somewhere. I just don't think that they booked off out of the country. I don't think that would like look good for maybe.
The only reason I didn't think that they would leave is if they're, and I'm not saying they're not innocent, but all of everything that's been going on with their names being, tossed around, and, they've been the suspects on everybody's list from the very beginning. They may have just wanted to get away because they're just, if they are innocent, and if I was innocent in a situation like that, I'd be like, I can't handle this crap anymore. I've lost my mother. I don't want to deal with this BS. I'm going. But now there are some reports that I've seen, and I think Patriot Pride had it, where it looked like, God, I've got somebody, Tina. Oh my God, I got to get Tina on stage. How many people can I put on stage?
I think you can do 6.
Yeah, at least 6, I think. And I can drop down at any point.
I can jump out.
No, we're good. We got
Hi.
Tina.
Congratulations on your first live stream.
Tina, thank you so much. Thank you.
You did
I see you all the time,
fantastic.
Tina. I love hearing from you.
Oh, I love hearing from you too. You guys know I
here's
love
Tina.
you all.
Hello, Tina.
Hey, how are you?
I feel
Actually,
really
I'm doing pretty
privileged.
Aw.
Man, I love to listen to this lady here. I love listening to Tina. She is awesome.
Oh, thank you, Bruce.
Tina is
I get a little passionate. But
we know you get a little passionate. We know that.
Oh, you know me. You know me.
And anybody comes after any of my people, I'm gonna go right back.
They're gonna say conspiracy theories, but guess what? Has there been anything that's been given to anybody? So like people that I hear say that, I always say when I see in chat, I'm like, how can you call her a conspiracy theorist or anybody when there's no proof of anything and there's nothing been shown to the people? I mean, look, Wayne knows a lot, Misty knows a lot, you know a lot, PI knows a lot. I'm the only one here that wasn't. I came in late.
Well, I have to say, Bruce, I jumped in here to support PI, but also I agree that they're in Arizona. I personally, my personal belief, in my opinion, allegedly, want to throw all that out. I think the FBI has them, and we're not going to know it. It just is very odd to me that they virtually disappeared right before Kalala got brought back from California, and they've been missing ever since. And that's just my opinion.
Do you think
whether they have them for
like under protective custody type of a thing? to keep them
I think
protected?
so. I think not to allow any speaking between anybody until this goes to Kalala's court in September.
Gotcha.
So
That's
where's
what I
Savannah
think.
doing Wordle? Where is she doing her Wordle game?
She's in the UK.
I'm curious about that. Why, do you know, does anybody know why they decided to do that in the UK? I'm just curious.
Me too.
Good question.
I mean, it just seems, I mean, she's in New
And
York. She films
Yeah.
it. I mean, she's got her, and what's his name? Jimmy, not Fallon. Is it Jimmy Fallon or Kimmel? I get the two mixed up. That she's doing
Fallon.
it with. Fallon. He's in the United States as well, in New York. So I don't understand whether they decided to do it out of the country. That surprises me. But
Me too. And did you guys also notice that when they announced that she was going to do the Wordle game that day on NBC, did you guys notice how her and Jimmy were really pushing the theory that this has been in the works for years?
yes, I did notice it, and I've never heard of it before.
Let's make this
Me
seem like
either.
normal, right? Let's make this seem
Right.
like, oh, God, we've been doing
And what
this
I
for
also
years.
noticed was
Planning
when
this.
Savannah gave her last little statement, she gave a plug for it too at the end. And I thought, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You want to talk about everything, what you've done and all the help and just this whole thing she went through. And then she did a plug for Wordle. And I thought, that's disgusting. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that.
Mhm.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean,
Right.
and personally, and I've made this really clear on other channels, but this is my channel, so I mean, I can make it perfectly clear on this one. I'm not
Absolutely.
saying any of the families involved. I don't know. Oh my God, 857. God bless you. You came into my chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
857.
What's up,
857 is
857?
in the
Hi,
house.
857.
Damien,
Wow.
5-7. What's going
How
on?
do you play Wordle?
That
I've never
is
seen it either.
Me either, Misty. We're going to suck at it.
that is honestly, it is a privilege that he is in my chat. Thank you, Tucson 857. You are
Hey,
awesome.
he's a great guy too. He's
That's
helped
great.
every one of us. I know for sure.
He
He's helped.
has.
Yeah.
He's an awesome human being.
857
He
Tucson.
has
Love
been
Damien.
very, very
Damien's
good to
awesome
me.
guy, man. He's an awesome guy. I love him.
Yes, he is. But one of the things I was going to say is when she makes her statements, and like I said, I am not, and I have never accused the family of anything, and I will not do that. I don't have enough information to do that. Do I have thoughts and ideas, theories, speculate? Tons of them, just like everybody else. I have not really wavered very much, but I do not like it when Savannah, which I honestly, I don't care for her. I didn't like her even long before this. I just don't care for her. But when she can get up there and give this supposedly heartfelt little speech about we need help, we need the community, we need the, and then I hear we've done everything we can do.
Oh.
I'm sorry, the hair on my arms, because I don't have hair on my back, but the hair on my arms literally stands up because I'm thinking, in God's green earth, can you, instead of telling us you've done all this, tell me specifically, what have you done? You didn't put one flyer out. You didn't buy one billboard. You didn't put a poster out. You did not search. You didn't do anything directly for your mother's case. You've been on TV. You've asked for help. You've said that there's going to be a reward. And maybe there's $1 million reward.
She did put money up, so you can't.
Oh,
you
what,
can't.
like $1,200
You know what?
at first?
Money is
Well,
not going to
I don't
bring
know what happened first. But what I'm saying is, there's $1 million. There's $1,200,000, right? Isn't there? 1.2.
Yeah.
Okay. And
But
she
guess
put
what?
500,000 to the research for lost, for missing people, anybody. So I mean,
But
like,
why?
I get
Why
it.
did she give that 500,000, Bruce, to missing children when her
Because-
mother's missing? That 500 grand may have been a little more of an influence with that million.
Well,
I'm just
I
saying.
Don't forget, part of that million
All I can say is you
not
can't
from
say
the
somebody
family.
hasn't done nothing. You can't say somebody hasn't done nothing
She hasn't done
I get
anything
it.
as far as the search for her
Yeah, I
mother.
get
So when
that.
she gets on TV and
Yes,
she
yes,
is
you are.
saying, I
You're right.
need your help. And she's
Yeah.
asking, okay, who's the help she needs? From the
Well,
community. But she doesn't
maybe.
want the streamers.
Okay, so but you don't do. You know what? When they said, what was it? Somebody said in one of the lives that the police, one of the just regular low deputies were calling her. I don't believe none of that. I don't believe no low deputy out there has her telephone number. All right, and that's just my personal opinion. If he does, and I'm wrong, okay, sorry that I'm wrong. I just don't believe that. I don't believe a low level deputy that's out doing the streets when you start off as a deputy, all right, is going to be having Savannah's or any big time celebrity's number. I just don't believe that. I think it's hogwash. I think it was just meant for people to try to get a distraction to get streamers out of there. That's just me personally. That's just what I believe.
Well,
I can agree
I
with
would
that.
agree with that. I
I'm
think
not
she
gonna
is.
Agreed.
Right. I don't
I think
disagree
she
with
is
that.
strictly speaking to the FBI, and that's why Nano's in May again when Annie and Tommaso has disappeared in May, and Nano's came out and said, "I have no direct contact with Savannah or the family since May." Everything he puts out is call the FBI, do the FBI, don't bother me. I don't have contact. I'm just saying, all these coincidences in May make me
I
tend to
don't
believe
understand.
that the FBI does have contact.
But in
Tina,
his
I don't
recent
understand
interview,
any
oh
of
yeah,
this stuff of
Savannah
what's going
texts
on
me
with the
every now
fighting,
and then.
right?
Savannah texts me.
Yeah. What,
We're
Bruce? I'm
still in
sorry.
contact.
I'm just
Sorry,
saying,
guys.
I don't, look, it does like anybody, like, okay, look, I don't mean to, okay, I'll just put it like this. Has anybody ever seen like when something happens, like with something like both sides, when you like, I guess they call them in, right? They call the FBI people in right away, right? Is this how this usually is done in most places, right? And aren't they basically working immediately together?
Supposed
Like
to.
how does that stench work
That's,
in
you
between?
just used
Does
the
Nano
word
call or
Normally,
who?
supposedly.
yes. Normally, yes.
Supposedly,
Not with
normally that
families.
would be the case. In this
Okay,
case,
so that's what I'm
not
wondering.
so
That's
much.
all I want to know.
There's been a
Yeah, in this
problem.
case, it didn't happen.
Yeah, we've had a problem with the sheriff and FBI from the onset with this case. But to backtrack just a little bit, I'm going to pull something in just a little. My only point was, I don't like that somebody can get, I don't care what your statue is or celebrity, and you say you have done so much, because I guarantee you, Wayne, Misty, Bruce, and Tina, if it was any of your family, either people, if you couldn't physically do it, people in your family would try to search. You would at least, if you had money like she does, you would be putting out flyers, you would do a billboard, you would be doing something besides a reward, because this is one thing, and this is a conspiracy theory. But if you think you know who did it and you know they may not get caught, guess what? No one's ever going to get the reward money either then.
Correct.
So you can put $10 million reward out there. Because if you think it could possibly, and I'm not saying it is, but if you suspect it might be somebody that you just might know, you know dang well that money's not going to go to a reward.
Oh, I
And
couldn't
so
agree more.
put out $10 million for all I care. That's not the help I think should have been done. Annie and Tommaso, everybody's saying don't say their name. That's their names. I'm going to say it. Okay, A&T, whatever you want to call them. They lived how close to Nancy? 4 miles away. And you, Wayne, would you stop? I'm going to smack you.
I was just saying, you said their names, and I was just giving everybody a visual. I damn sure wouldn't be hiding my face. I'd be looking for my mother, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Well, when you're not used to camera, I guess I don't know.
They were taking care of her. They were supposedly the ones that Savannah and Cameron counted on to make sure she was all right, because they lived close. And they may have been doing a hell of a good job. Who knows? I don't know what they did. Maybe they bought her groceries every week. Maybe they took her out every week. Maybe they did all kinds of wonderful things for her. We don't know, because they won't come forward and say anything. But I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's the president. if someone in your family goes missing, especially like this case, I would, if I couldn't personally do it because I had to go back to work, I would get people to be out there handing out flyers, doing what
Absolutely. And she didn't
857
need the
did.
money. She didn't have to go
Agreed.
back to work.
No.
No.
I mean, look at what 857, look what all of these boots on the ground streamers have done. And they've ended up in jail and getting citations because of it. And then she's got the nerve to say, I'm afraid of the streamers, especially one in particular that's in front of my mother's home. And I'm in New York and they're in Arizona and she's afraid. Give
Yeah.
me a
Give me a-
frigging
Give me a
break.
break.
Yes.
Oh,
Every time
don't
I
get me
try-
started on
What
that.
I
Don't
say-
get me started on that.
So
You may
when
not
I-
like what I'm about to say. You may not like what I'm about to say, but
I
you know
don't
what the
care
focus
what
is?
you're doing.
The focus is Nancy. The focus should not be on any of these people.
No, we're speculating and
That's
we're
just my,
just
that's just my personal opinion.
all we're doing is brainstorming and
No,
tossing
no, no.
ideas
You're
around.
right. No, Pete. What I'm saying. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying you can't talk. We can't talk. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the focus needs to be her. And to me, if it's any of us, yes. And if we were all rich or famous, which
We don't
I'm
have
not
to be
rich
rich.
and I'm not famous, but
That's my
I
point.
would
Is
do
you
my
don't
best to get
have
out
to
there
be
and
rich.
make flyers and ask for help.
Okay, my only point is I don't think you have to be famous to do a search or to help. That's my
Yes,
point.
ma'am. That's right.
Correct.
You're right.
And
You're right.
can I jump in and say
I
something?
think Nancy does deserve the recognition that she deserves. And I think the streamers were trying to do that. And unfortunately, it was squashed. They can't anymore. But I do think that this whole country cares about her. And so when I hear that she's still asking for help, what does she want us to do when our hands are being tied from doing it? I'm not boots on the ground, but other people are, and yet their hands are in handcuffs now, literally, because they can't do it. So
right.
I don't get it when she says she still needs the help. What is the help that she needs? Bruce, if you can clarify what she means by that, I would love to understand, because I don't understand anymore what she wants for help. I don't get it.
No, and every time I try to give her the benefit of the doubt, then she comes up with something like, to those that are trying to make money off this, you know exactly who she's talking about. If you ain't going to at least say thank you for keeping my mom's name out there, thank you for searching the desert and putting yourself in extreme heat and rattlesnakes all around you looking for my mom, why I can't do it for some odd reason. My sister and Tommy can't do it either because they're terrified of TMZ tracking them down in the middle of the night, and they were closing in on them, for God's sakes. Oh, woe is me kind of thing. If you can't at least thank the people that's doing that kind of thing, don't drag their name through the mud and put blame on them. And that is a little bit ridiculous for her to say that.
When the family didn't even put up flyers. Come on.
Other people's tragedies. She made a killing off of 9/11. She's made a killing off of several tragedies. She's been on Dateline NBC making money off tragedies, and then she's going to say for a little YouTuber that might get a super chat or something every now and then that you're the blame, or we don't thank you or something like that. That right there was ridiculous. I can't sympathize with her no more. I can't.
Me either.
Tried to, but when she said that, I was like, okay, Savannah, I'm done with it.
I agree with you, Wayne, because the day after that she said that, I jumped on JLR's panel because I was so angry, and I said it in an angry way, but I wanted to give her a direct message because she clearly does not have any true friends and or family around her, because if she did, and I'm going to say it to her one more time in case she just happens to hear this, I'm going to be your true friend, and I'm going to tell you straight up right now, you were brought into this world as a daughter first. That's how you got here. You need to put your celebrity status, your higher than mighty attitude, and being a mother and being a wife all needs to go to the side for a moment, and you need to find your mother and be the daughter that you were brought into this world to be. And shame on you for not realizing it yourself, but even more shame on the people you're surrounding yourself with that are not telling you this, because you look foolish, and none of us are going to have any respect for you after the way you've behaved. You got brought in as a daughter. You need to behave as a daughter. In this story.
Somebody asked me on a panel recently if I thought, I think it was Dom C did it actually, if I thought Nancy would be happy and proud right now, or what she would be feeling. And I told very specifically, I think she would be looking down at the people that have really tried very hard to find her and be very grateful and be very gracious about it. I think she would be very upset with some other people and how they're acting, including the sheriff of the county. I think she would probably be a little bit upset with the Catalina Foothills because she was very active in that community. I'm sure she gave to a lot of people's kids growing up in that community when they were going to school and donated to things. I think she would be very disappointed, though, in some ways, of how her children that I think she raised to be good kids. I do. I think she was, considering she was a single mom for many years, I think she did a damn good job. I mean, Savannah, Savannah's an attorney as well. She's not just a person on media, but I do always think family comes first, regardless. And with Savannah's popularity that she had, I don't know what it is right now. I think she could have taken a year off. And if she'd taken a year off and been a little bit active and involved, even in just getting up and talking about her mother, bringing some awareness to who Nancy was and what she's, and show us some grief, show us your feelings, be a little bit transparent. I think she would have returned back in a year and be more light than she is right now.
I do too. I agree with you, P.I. Very well said.
Yeah.
And it's, I think she's a good it's just hard for me because there's Cameron, and I think there's something with Cameron possibly in his family. I hope Bruce didn't leave because he got upset and mad. I hope that's not why he left.
I hope not either.
And comes back in.
But I mean, if he left and he's mad, I can't change that. I wasn't trying to get on him personally, but
no. Bruce, no, he'll be back.
He's usually got thick skin. Bruce does. He doesn't usually get.
He's probably going to take a nap.
No, and he's always been really, really sweet. So I'm not. I hate to see somebody just pop out like that. But
he'll be back.
I just, like I said, I think that her status has changed because of this case, and there he is, and it's just sad. I mean, the whole thing is just, it's a sad situation, and I agree 100% with him when he says that the focus does need to be on her. Yes, it does. It seems like though when we put more focus on her, we've got a sheriff's department that's pushing the focus away. Right. So it's difficult, and and as far as the grieving, we all grieve differently. So I'm not going to put her down directly for how I feel. I wouldn't be grieving the way she grieves. Let's just put it that way. But we're different.
I do think that people say that we all grieve differently, but I do think there's a lot of us that grieve the same, and there's a lot of us that react the same.
Agreed.
I agree with that too.
But
we are
exactly.
different.
Some people shut down. Some people just shut down.
People grieve differently. Some people grieve differently, but there's a lot of us who grieve, the same way, and there's a lot of us that react the same way in certain situations. And when people don't, when people hide their faces, or when people go, just off.
You're saying they're going to be guilty then if they're hiding their face, right?
What'd you say?
You said they got to be guilty, right? Anybody, because I look at it like this. I think it does not look good. Does not look good doing this. It does not look good doing this.
Say it again.
I said it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good if we're doing this. That's just like people say that, and I have to agree with them. It's like people say, "Oh, they're guilty," but I don't think so. But it doesn't look good when you're hiding yourself. Okay. You don't need to hide yourself. There was 1 million people out there. I mean, there was what? How many people from the regular news? All the
400, I believe.
with news, and you're going to do this kind of stuff. Like, come on, you can't be doing that.
Right.
It's going to make people think that you're guilty. Is all I'm saying, Wayne.
I mean, you look at Sebastian Rogers. You look at Seth Rogers. He's not hiding his face. He's front and center on every camera that he can get on. He's saying, "Where's my son at?" You know.
Yeah.
And
now, Bruce,
and most people of missing people, whether they're children or adults or teenagers, generally are, and they are craving this much attention for their loved one. So, you know, I know everybody's different, but I feel like that's really rude, not just to the community who does want to know what happened to her mother and bring her home, but also it was rude and kind of override your 500 grand you gave out, because you basically said, hey, all you people who are making money off of my mom, go kick rocks. And nobody wants your coverage, and I'm going to have you guys arrested. So now those people will feel afraid to go help somebody else who would appreciate the help. Like she knows how to choose her words, and she knows better. She needs, again, I can't say it enough, she needs to remember who her mother gave birth to, who she raised, and she needs to be the daughter that she was brought into this world to be, because her mother appears to have been a great woman who contributed to society, who raised 3 children alone in a very nice home that I'm sure was not easy for her to keep paying for while she was widowed, in a very nice neighborhood, tried to give them the best education. They've all turned out pretty well. And the payback that their mother gets is hush.
Right.
That's bullshit.
To me, when there is a hush,
a little bit,
that means somebody is hiding something. That's
she's talking about, or bringing us coverage, and we have been invested in this, praying for your mother, losing sleep day and night, 6 straight months.
Absolutely.
And you're in Italy making Wordle. Okay.
It's a slap in the face.
Ooh, wow,
you know, they're giving us coverage, and we're praying for your mother. We're losing sleep for your mother. We want to know. We're searching the internet. We're trying to put clues together. We're trying to get the mask off the friggin' guy. We're doing, eye stuff, comparisons, trying to figure out who took your mother. And then you want to turn around and slap them in the face. Anybody that's making $1 off this, like you said, Tina, go kick rocks. Lady, please. I mean, that is an insult right there to me.
It is a terrible insult, and she knew she was doing it because she is an attorney. She is a journalist. She knows how to choose her words. That was purposefully done.
Every single time I see her speaking about her mother, that, I don't want to say it, but that stupid little grin before she says her mother's name, like, it's so rehearsed. I can't even put my finger on it, but I cannot stand to watch her speak.
Missy, I think she
really, me too. And I really think she's forgotten who she is.
Well, Tina, I know from hearing you've had a relatively recent loss in your life.
Yes, 2 of them, my mom and dad.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know what Misty has experienced. I'm not sure what's Wayne's story or Bruce. I know mine. And I'm sorry. It's just most of us the majority of us would handle this differently. And I truly believe that career is more important to her. And that upsets me. That really
there's no right or wrong way to grieve. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. There's no time limit on grieving. But you did nothing to find your mother or to attempt to find your mother.
It seems like everything's on Savannah's terms. It's how Savannah wants it done. And, and Canberra's kind of an odd one with this whole situation. Because, it's interesting that, we talk about the family, but even when Savannah got the initial phone call, and with that, I'm sorry, I will say this, but absolutely, to me, god-awful interview with Hoda, and not as even much Savannah. I wanted to smack the heck out of Hoda. She drove me nuts. But with that interview, when she said what Cameron said, which I thought, man, my brother is just going to flat out on the very first phone call say, well, yeah, sweetie, it could be because of you. It's like, whoa, that kind of hit low. But she talks about A&T. She talks about her nephew. She talks about her family and her husband and her kids. She'll talk about Cameron. Why has she never, ever mentioned Cameron's wife and his kids? At Christmas, they're not in the Christmas photo. Cameron is, but the kid, his wife, and he spends a lot of time in Arizona. So I don't think Cameron has a very good, or maybe not even has a relationship anymore with his wife and kids. I think they're either separated, divorcing, or something's going on with that. But Cameron's being dead quiet. I mean, he came out, he didn't even go to the memorial when they went to put the flowers down. So Cameron's kind of an odd duck to me. And maybe he's just that. Maybe he's just an odd duck. He's got a lot of military experience. Maybe he's kind of hardened to certain things. Maybe he's just not really close with his siblings. I think initially people thought,
and maybe he knows what she refuses to accept and believe.
And
that's true.
And we honestly, we don't know what the dynamics of the family really are or were. We don't know how close any of them were.
But
and
it seems
I don't sense, from what I've seen, I don't see a real tight-knit family. I see Savannah saying she loves her siblings, but I don't feel that warmth of comfort.
Those are words. Yeah.
You're right, Misty.
There's nothing there that I can say I feel. And I know that even if I met Tina in person tomorrow, or Wayne, or Misty, Bruce, I don't know about you yet. No, I'm kidding you totally. if I were
gotta earn it, man. Gotta earn it.
If I went, Bruce, I'm kidding. I'm only kidding you. There, that's for you.
I love you too.
Yes, we do.
I don't care what you call me. You call me whatever you want.
I'll call you late for dinner. No, I'm kidding.
That's not true.
If I went to Georgia, where I lived before, and Wayne's in Georgia, Misty, you're close by. Tina, I don't even know where you are, bless your heart.
I am at the Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri.
And there was an opportunity to meet you, all of you guys. You guys would all get an embrace hug because I feel something for you people. And I don't sense that from the family. I don't feel any closeness or connection with any of them. So they may honestly just not be that close.
Yeah, it seems they can't stand each other.
When you lose, you lose your parent, you come together a little bit. I don't even think they came together that much for that. And Nancy, wherever you are, I just hope you're at peace. And that's really what it all comes down to, is that 84-year-old woman, regardless of everything else, and the speculation, the rumors, the who did this, the who did that, who loves who doesn't, she was taken in the middle of the night. She didn't have her hearing aids in, so she can't hear. She probably had no idea what was happening. She was taken from her home. Whoa. God knows what happened to her before
from that scary man. That's what keeps me up at night. When you said that, Wayne, I have lost sleep over worrying about how terrified she must have been to open her eyes and see that, and not be able to hear, and probably couldn't even try to negotiate or communicate because she couldn't hear what he said back. Like it just, and to wake up to that, like it has cost me sleep. I just pray that she is at peace.
I can't even imagine what that feeling would be like.
No,
I'm at my age, I cannot, and I'm younger. I'm more steady on my feet. I'm in a different condition than she is. I literally cannot imagine it. And when I do think of her, I try to think of her as just the positive woman that I have done investigating on to see what she was like. How she impacted college students was amazing. They would come to her and talk to her because she And if you look at the night before she was taken and she was sitting at the table playing Mahjong, she had two much younger people there too. She liked young people. She was good with young people. And that's how I think of her, as a warm person. What her family is like, I really don't care, to be honest.
Me
I
either.
just wish that there was a little bit more that I was feeling from them. Maybe I'm completely off base. Maybe there's more there than I haven't seen it. But apparently a lot of other people haven't seen it either. But the focus, like you said, it's on her. So I say God bless her for one reason. Wayne, you've heard me say this before on Dom C's channel. I thank her for one thing. If it wasn't for what happened to her, she would not have brought this huge community of caring people that we truly care about each other.
Yes.
We would not be sitting on this panel
Yes.
and having caring thoughts and saying prayers for Misty every night, praying for Wayne, praying for those people that are going through difficult times right now. We wouldn't be doing that because we wouldn't have met. So Nancy brought all of us together. And for that, I say thank you, Nancy.
Amen.
And God bless you for that.
Amen.
Bless her.
Absolutely. Well said, PI.
Thank you. And that
Very
is my final thought on it. I just hope she is at peace, and I pray that they find, if it's family, not family, whoever, I don't care who. I wish that they would show more of the masked man and kind of put a little more focus into Porch Guy than we have. We've kind of pulled away from that. But then on the other hand, we don't know for sure when that even transpired because there's no date. So that's kind of leaves us up in the air. But I pray to God that they at least can find who did this, because I would not want this on any 84. I don't care if the neighbor across the street from me that I can't stand. My God, I would never want this to happen to her. Never in a million years.
Right.
Nobody
Wish it on your worst enemy. Yeah.
No. And having worked with geriatric patients for 30 years and knowing how some of them would wake up in the middle of the night just out of fear, how some of them just, regardless, it baffles me that somebody could even do it, period. And I just, like I said, it's just, like I said, my heart goes out to her. It goes out to Nan, not to the family. It goes out to her for whatever she had to go through. Whatever she went through, that to me is what is sad.
Yeah, it is very, very sad. Just very.
And I hope that's the person, and I hope whoever it is rots in frigging hell.
Oh, me too. Big time.
Oh, for sure.
Big time.
Say it again. Say it louder so the back can hear.
Yep.
Right.
We are all going to stay positive, and we're going to continue to share the love that we have amongst all of us. We've all got some really, Tina, like I said, every time I see you on somebody's channel, it's like, yes, Tina's on. I care for you deeply. Bruce, I think you're a kick in the butt. I love to, you're honest, you're funny, you've got a great personality. You speak your mind and you compliment other women, and I know that you've gotten some backlash from that. And I hate that happened to you. Mm-hmm. We've got a real problem. Dom C addressed it very well in her video that she did last night. The trolls are out there like crazy, and they are attacking a lot of our channels.
I don't care. Like the thing that bothered me at first was, it's not that my wife knows. I look, if I wanted to just go mess with girls, I would have never got married. All right. And if I wanted to cheat, I could go do whatever the hell I want and go do that. That's not who I am. Well, I'm way older, like I don't need that. I've got somebody that's all I need. Okay.
No, but
and when people take it out of Grant, that's their problem. But then they're going to make it mine when they want to try to contact and reel and pull, nonsense. Yeah. It's stupid.
It is. Don't take it personally, because we all know who you are.
I don't take it personal. I don't care. They're going to continue to do whatever they're going to do. There's nothing I can do about that.
And Misty's getting attacked. I have been attacked. I've had videos made about me. People, it's ridiculous. Shanna's being attacked. Like, It's
I have
everybody.
been,
PI is getting emails that are horrible. Like they all
oh my
have to
God.
stop. So don't take it. They're just
The-
coming
I'm
after
not
all of us
taking it.
right now.
I took it. I did take it. I did take it a little personal at first because I was pissed, it wasn't even just about just the like people doing what they did. Okay, the fact of the matter is if you want to start trying to break up stuff, like you're gonna do it to somebody one day, and I'm telling you that's gonna be the downfall of people. You want to
Well, I
start
think
hurting
that's
other
what it
people's
is
families,
now.
go ahead.
Yeah.
But they're not breaking mine up. They're not going to
No.
do that. All right. Because I'll tell you this right now. I could find 10 other women just like that if I wanted to, but I don't want 10 other women. I've got who I love. She knows that
You
I don't
got your
mess around and
boo.
do
You
stupid
got your
stuff.
boo.
Right.
And
That's
I have
it.
to say,
And
at
whatever I
first,
say is what I say.
it took me a minute to not take it personally. Like they
Me
say
too,
things that
Misty.
hurts. They say
Yeah.
things that really hurt.
Oh,
But
I took it real
once
bad
you,
on.
it's kind of
on
like learning, it's
yeah,
like, oh, okay, well,
It's like
there's a
learning all
troll.
over again.
There's a troll.
Yeah.
Bye.
the
I
first
don't care
couple
what you
times,
say. You're just jealous.
the first few times I found that experience was not pleasant. And I thought, God, what did I do to deserve that? And now it's
Oh
like,
man,
you
they
know
were
what?
you know what they did?
Doesn't even faze me. And Bruce, because you were in the chat that day.
Yeah, you
When
want to hear something funny? They were putting stuff on my Facebook of some. It was an African guy and a girl up in a tree doing it, and I literally just was laughing my ass off. I'm like, this is hilarious. I'm like, well, like, do you really think? Like, do you really think this? Like, look,
They're so stupid.
Asian women, and I'm not saying nothing against American women. Asian women are nymphos for sex. But I mean, I'm not talking about my wife, but I'm just saying.
Thanks
But
for
when they see
sharing,
this,
Bruce.
well, I'm just being honest. It's just what it is. It's the truth. Look,
It
I'm a
is
man.
what it is.
I've
It
got to
is
say,
what it
I've got to
is.
say how I
I
feel.
love
I'm
it.
not trying to be disgusting or anything. It's just what it
I
is.
know.
And I've heard that before because I used to work with several of them, and boy, I'll tell you, they would. Woo, some
Come
of the
on,
stories.
if you don't like love, that's fine. But I mean, I know, like everybody like loves, and I
Yes.
look, I don't
We
care
get
what
what
they
you're saying.
do,
We're just
but
giving you
it's just
grief.
funny that they're doing this now. Like
Yeah.
I just got rid of it, but it's hilarious because I left it on my Facebook all day long yesterday and today, and people were just laughing. They're like, man, whoever the loser is that's doing this is a real big, like a complete
Mhm.
bozo with
Mhm.
nothing going on in his life.
Yeah.
They show their
And
own ass. Yeah.
that's
Just
the
let 'em.
truth.
I'm reading the chat, and some of these comments, because of your comment, Bruce, are hysterical. But anyway,
Don't let me come over to your house.
You said your wife's got a sister, right?
You might just get naked.
oh God, it hurts.
See, the thing is, these ladies here know that, like, I'm like literally just joking. I would never disrespect these women. I would never disrespect you, PI. All right. These women can take stuff. We know that we're joking. We can have a good time together. All right.
And
It's
if you
not
can't
like
joke, just get out. If you can't joke around,
we
just
do
get
it all
out.
the time with the ladies, but we don't take it any further.
No.
We don't take
Not
it
at
further.
all.
We respect these women, man.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys have been an absolutely incredible panel. I could not have asked for a better panel. And Tina, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. You're always welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Tina, the chat just lights up when you come in. Everybody's just like, Tina's here, Tina's here.
Yeah.
And it's great. It is. Bruce, I'm so glad that you hopped on. And
thank you for having me on.
Anytime you want, you're welcome. Everybody, like I said, I don't want to do this by myself. I want people to hop on. It's fun. It's entertaining. We talk about the Oriental Express and everything that they want to do.
Yeah, we want to do it with you.
Oriental Express.
Yeah. We're all with you.
Love it.
And Wayne, you've been a support. I know that you know a lot of the technical things that I get hung up on, and so I'm going to use you to help me a little bit. It's a learning curve, and we're new channels.
Wayne, my man, don't be flirting with my man, girl.
And look, he's right in the middle on the screen, right in the middle of you two.
Thanks, Bluebird.
There's
all
enough
good.
to go around. There's enough for me to go
It's all
around.
good.
We can share. We can all share.
Oh, I love you guys.
I got a little Filipinian in me, you know.
Yeah, you got a little Filipina in you.
I could say something, but I'm not going to say it. I will bite my tongue on that one.
Oh, I bet she's got a little Filipina in her too. I bet they all do.
And they're
Oh my goodness.
they're always hungry.
You guys are great.
You know what them girls are thinking about, Wayne. Put your beach on.
I'm just
They're thinking about the beach.
their territory. It's about time, Misty.
They're thinking about the beach that you have, right? Thinking about the beach and all the nice relaxing in the water and drinking the drinks, you know?
Now you're talking.
Okay, guys, chill. Be cool. Be cool.
Okay.
Be cool.
It's
Let's-
PI's show. It's
Pull it in
PI's
for a second. We discussed
Listen, please.
two cases rather thorough, and we highlighted on Nancy's case. And
Yeah.
I think that we should really pray for Lynette Hooker's family,
Yes.
and that there can be some resolve to that. Her daughter, like I said, is not handling this well at all. Initially, I was kind of surprised. She was so tough, and she's fallen apart. She's not doing good. She's a young girl that has went through a lot, and she's lost her mother. And she didn't just lose her mother because of the fact that he was with her since she was 3 years old and raised her. She feels like she lost her father to her as a murderer. That's how she sees it. And it's very sad because she's lost now really two parents. The Lindsay Clancy case, regardless of the outcome, I still think she deserves our prayers.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, it's tragedy for all these people, but you literally, I just noticed this too, and I've watched you in chat too, but you literally know you're really a smart lady when it comes to like all these different, you know, because I don't know a lot of these cases. What I know that I want to help 857, and maybe you could too, and maybe other people that came with the Holly Dassel case. She needs to have her name put out there.
Yes, she does.
I'm going to put her name out there as soon as I get back. I'm putting her name
sure
out
he
there.
is
And I'm
probably
gonna let
already on
the people know.
Probably already on it.
Yeah.
All right.
And I've got, like I said, I've got 14 names that every day I research on of cases that nobody's talking about. We've got a couple of the big ones coming up soon. You know, we'll have the Charlie Kirk case. It's going to have massive media. We've got the Tyler Robinson case. There's the Anna Kepner, whose stepbrother.
Don't give all your
her.
secrets, P.I. Don't give all your
I'm
secrets.
just saying,
don't
killed
tell
her
us
on a
Right.
cruel
Don't
ship.
tell us all.
Nobody's covering these, and you know what? PI 56 is going to cover them. So
Yep.
you guys
Okay.
are going to be hearing about some cases nobody else is probably talking about, and I am going to give them a voice.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. Love it.
That's it.
I do too.
So, and I hope that you all join me again for my next
Yeah.
live. And
Absolutely.
I won't be nearly as nervous next time. And all of you that
Oh, well,
came
you
in
didn't seem nervous. You didn't seem nervous.
No.
You did
yeah.
awesome.
You did great.
Fantastic.
Absolutely great.
Thank you, Tina. But I'll tell you,
Good
when the
job.
song didn't play, at first I was really upset, and I thought, because you guys don't even know what happened last night. I had everything lined up, ready to go, and I get up this morning and it's not on there anymore. It vanished. It's like everything, and I was about ready just to say, I'm done. But I'm not a quitter.
Practice
Give
makes
up.
perfect. Practice makes
And
perfect.
I figure,
We wouldn't have even known had you not told us. You did fantastic.
You all
honestly.
know way more than I do right now.
and
So.
for all of you that came in early and did not get to hear the intro song, consider yourself lucky. It's kind of
Well, I don't
corny,
feel
but
lucky. I don't feel lucky.
Pat yourself on the back for doing a good job out here today. That's what matters.
thank
Yes,
you, Bruce.
yeah.
Thank all of you
Definitely
so
deserve
And
much.
as many
Pat
nice
on me
things
back.
as many nice things, PI, as you say about everyone else, we all feel the same about you. And I hope you felt that today. And
did.
we love you and we adore you. We respect you and your story and what has brought you to this point. You're an amazing woman and an amazing human being. And we know that. And we love you for that.
Yes,
That's
and
right.
you know me,
Thank you
girls.
so
You
Love
know
you.
me.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. That means a lot to me.
Yeah,
It really does. You
we can
guys,
connect in
again,
a certain way. So I love you so much. I love you.
Yep.
love you guys too. And so for now,
All
I'm going to
right.
use
Thank
my
you.
good old term. PI 56 is going to call it a day, and I'm
Until
out.
next time.
Until
So
next
next
time.
time. Bye
We'll
bye.
see you on
Till
the
next
live.
You all.
time.
Love
Bye,
you.
Thank
Love
you.
everyone.
Be
Thank
there.
Love
you.
you.
Bye bye.
I love you, Pi. I love you, Pi.
Yeah.
Bye.
I love
Thanks
you
for having
too.
me.
Wayne, thank you so much, Wayne.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye
Hugs and kisses. Bye.
bye. Bye bye.